Like
That
they just don't. So if that is the case and he is outside, again, we have to have these conversations of, what's going to happen while you're outside. And with, like I said, with outside activities come outside issues. And this is one outside issue.
and I mean, I hear you, but girls are out there too, especially in this day and age. Now in our day and age, it was a little more sheltered. I grant you that, but it wasn't entirely sheltered because guess what? How's he exploring two girls and they ain't out there? He found them somewhere, and it wasn't in their houses. And if it was in their houses, they were out their houses for a little second to let that little boy to the door.
This is true. This is true. I'm not saying that girls don't get into things. I'm just saying that boys idealistically get into more things than girls. I ain't saying there ain't no fast ass girls out there. Obviously, he got two of them chasing him. I'm just
Absolutely.
saying
So if
they doing things that the boys should be doing that they shouldn't be doing. They should have they behinds in the house. Okay, so
right,
they with the boys too. So just because the boys are getting into it and girls are too, don't make it right. It just means that they doing what the boys should be doing, and they should be in the house somewhere or should be in a secluded area somewhere. Hi Hank, how are you this evening?
How y'all doing today?
what up, though, Hank?
Good, doing good.
What's
You got
what's
to
up
play it
now?
back so Hank can see it.
All right, I definitely will. And how are you doing, Hank? I don't know if I heard that part.
No, I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good.
Right
All
on.
right, we're gonna play this back.
Oh, oh my gosh, Mom. Mom.
What, Cody?
I got so look, let me tell you something. Are you busy?
I'm at work.
That don't matter. This situation is real big. So listen. So look, I was on the phone with one of my girls, right? So then that's when she asked me if I love her. I said, of course I love you, baby. And so then after that, the whole time she was on the phone with my other girlfriend, and now they both blowing up my phone, Mom. And now I don't know what to do. I need Mom, this ain't funny, Mom. I need your help.
what you want me to do because you got caught?
Damn.
What you want me to do because you got caught?
I don't know. Help me figure it out.
Okay, Cody, go back there and tell your brother that. Go back there and tell your brother to act like he was you on the phone.
No, Mom. That ain't gonna work if my camera was
your, your camera was on?
Yes, because I always let them see my face because I'm fine, Mom. I'm so for real, Mom. I need your help.
Okay, well then tell her I gave you a little medicine last night and you didn't know what you was saying. Who you like the most?
I like both of them.
Oh my God, Cody. Go in the house and call me. I'm gonna tell you how to get out of it.
Okay, thank you.
That code was so quick.
Yeah, he is about 13.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah, he had to be at least. So, Hank, what do you think? What do you think after just watching it? Your raw reaction to it?
Uh, man, I don't know why he told the little girl he loved her. You wasted your time with that shit.
Oh, God.
I mean, he's probably about 13, and they probably got him in a corner, and they probably tell you he love him all the time, but he never respond. But now she's trying to get him pinned down. Yeah, he's in a bad situation. He might as well, if they both heard the situation and both heard the scenario, if it's spot on what he said, he might as well chalk it up. He better take a nail on this one. Ain't nothing you gonna be able to tell him. Because if they go to the same school, they gonna they gonna trade notes, and it's over. They gonna trade notes, and it's over. So I don't know if they go to the same school or not, but if they do, it's over. And even if they don't, they'll find a way to network.
Right.
Somehow she'll find out the girl's name, because like I said, he gonna tell on himself. Well, who's the girl you told you else you love him? Oh, it's her, but I really don't. I was just saying that. And as soon as he tell your name, she can go look it up.
Well,
And
she
she
had
gonna reach out in the DMs.
the other girl was on the phone, so he was on the phone with the one saying that he loved her, didn't know that the other one was on the phone. So they was already in cahoots. They already knew, they had to have already known that something was going on. It's like they called them on three-way or something, or she chimed the other girl in somehow, some way. But she heard him say that she liked the other girl. So they already done.
So they are exchanged notes.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to confirm.
Mm-hmm.
They just want some clarification. Oh yeah, it's over, dog. You know, it's over. It's over. He better think about the memories he built with them, and that's about all he gonna have with them again. Is it? You know, take his L and keep it moving. Learn how to operate a little differently.
Now, the mom was about to have him tell 2.5 lies. Okay, how would you instruct a mother to give a son advice like this? Because, like I said, she was about to tell 2.5 lies. Then who knows what she told him when he actually came in the house. So, how would you instruct a single mom to give a little boy like this wisdom when it's dealing with 2 little girls?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
It's not there.
Mama needed to be quiet and just stay out of it. And hopefully she have a brother. She said, call your uncle. Call your uncle, see what he would do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would take it from her mother, because the mother probably gonna say, well, that's what you get. You don't need to be lying to these girls. You need to be a gentleman. She gonna help him get out of it. I mean, she might tell him one little story, but she came up with some lame shit talking about, tell him I gave you some of that Robitussin. I will, and you know, you was a little drowsy when you was saying what you was saying. Yeah, that shit ain't gonna work. You need to go talk to his damn uncle and get some game and figure it out from there.
Yep. I told you, player is trying to get advice from somebody who got played. You don't do that. You got to go to another player. But yeah, he's funny. He said, come on, that ain't gonna work. They saw my beautiful face.
That part gets me every time. He was like, I'm fine. Ooh, he's definitely gonna be trouble. So somebody needs to talk to that young man. Okay. Somebody has said in the comments somebody needs to have that serious conversation with him, because again, this is one of the pivotal points in a little boy's life where it's just like, all right, you know, I'm feeling myself. I know I'm fine. I know the girls all up on me. They want me. Someone needs to come on into his life and just say, whoa, buddy, before you get too deep in, let me just give you the facts of life on how it's going down out here out in these streets. Because that turns into teen pregnancies. That turns into a little girl being 16 and pregnant in school, and you know, the one that he was on the phone with that heard him say I love you is like, oh, glad it wasn't me. You know, somebody needs to talk to him, and the little girls, not just him, the little girls too, because they caught up in it too. They conspiring on their side, like, no, you call him and I'm gonna be on silent. Let me see what he say. This happens, and this is why it's important for you to check your kids' phones too. It's important because she's at work, he's outside the house in the neighborhood. It's important to check your kids' phones because you need to know what kind of conversations they're having, the lingo that's being used nowadays. Now we're at a point where remember our parents used to be like, what are they talking about? What's this lingo? We're now at the point where it's like, what's this? Riz this and sprinkle and all these crazy terms that's going on nowadays in 2024. You need to know how they're interacting with each other, and some kids, all they grow up around is cursing. So that's all they going to put in their text messages. They grow up thinking that the middle finger is just the index finger and it's just always up. Like, you know, so you have to be involved in the kid's life, because if not, it can fly off the handle and one girl, could be 2 girls pregnant, could be 3. You never know, because this little boy is truly feeling himself. Okay.
True that. Player is going to have 2 little players with him. He had both of them on the string. I'm sure he already was talking in their ear, trying to whisper sweet nothings to get into those cookies. It's written all over the video. Not to mention, his mother is endorsing it. She condoning it. Remember how back in the days I told you I mentioned to the fellas we should stop playing these games and condone these games? This is why I said that. Because this is a direct display of it. And he ain't gonna get better. Matter of fact, I take that back. He's gonna get much better at playing the game. Because right now he's gonna get out of it. Because his mother gonna help him, and he's just gonna have more ammunition to play better game.
Is she really gonna help him?
Absolutely. She said, "Go in the house and call me. I'm gonna get you out of this."
Right, but is that gonna? What I'm saying is what she's gonna tell him gonna actually help him, or is it gonna hurt him?
It goes back to why we always are talking about not having single mother houses, not having, because this is exactly where we go. No, she's not gonna help him literally, but she's definitely gonna help him in the matter of the player, the person who got played is teaching him how to play better.
Yeah. Well, she ain't teach him nothing. Like I said, he wasn't even falling for them dumb lies. So that again, he even knew, like, okay, mom, that's stupid. No, that's not even gonna work, you know. So she needs to hand him off to a man. That's what she needs to do. She just needs to, like Hank said, shut her mouth and just hand him off to someone who can handle him in a way that would make sense to him. Because again, she lied to him twice. So now mom don't even make sense to me. I don't even know if I can even take her advice or whatever she's going to give me. But since I'm out here, begging for something, and she said she could help me. He said, "Are you busy? I'm at work." Oh, that don't matter right now. Like, you could just tell this little boy needs some direction. He needs some, he needs some direction. He needs some correcting, and he needs leadership. That's what he needs. He needs a man that's going to lead and guide him in the right direction. Again, he's at a time and a pivotal point in his age, probably 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, where the girls are plentiful. Mom's at work. That idle time is a devil's playground. Like you said, where's the after school programs? This could be summertime. Where's the camp? Where's again, the male role models? So he definitely needs a man to come in and say, all right, we need to do some things differently. You're at an age now where we need to start moving differently. We have to have a certain mindset for our future.
I think you're right, but it's very critical that I want to point out, it's not a man. It's a man who can direct. Because if he go on the character that I was just playing, hey, player, yeah, guess what? It ain't gonna help him none. Because all the man gonna do is tell him, all right, Sue, you got 2 girls? All right, let me tell you how to get out of this, bro. And so it depends on the man that he goes to. He don't just need a man. He needs a man who ain't playing the games.
Yeah, like I said, a leader. A leader. That's what he needs. He needs somebody that's going to lead and guide him. Hi, Arpain. How are you?
Yeah. What's up, Payne?
Yeah, hello, everybody. Hello. How you doing, Pastor? Hank? Yeah, man. Well, you got my colored shirt on? Why you got my colored shirt on, Hank? You gotta go change
it's the red thing. Look at all of us. We all got on red.
Arpain has an orange.
Yeah, it's kind of orange.
Yeah.
No, it's the camera.
Doing his own thing.
Shab been drinking.
That's why, Hank, you got to change the color of your shirt, man. It's too close to mine.
Oh my goodness.
How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Good.
We went over a video of a little kid. I'm gonna play it one more time for you, Arpain, and then we're gonna just to get your
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. Then we're gonna move on.
Oh my gosh, Mom.
What, Cody?
Guys, so look, let me tell you something. Are you busy?
I'm at work.
That don't matter. This situation is real big. So listen. So look, I was on the phone with one of my girls, right? So then that's when she asked me if I love her. I said, of course I love you, baby. And so then after that, the whole time she was on the phone with my other girlfriend, and now they both blowing up my phone, Mom. And now I don't know what to do. I need Mom, this ain't funny, Mom. I need your help.
What you want me to do because you got caught?
Damn.
What you want me to do because you got caught?
I don't know. Help me figure it out.
Okay, Cody, go back there and tell your brother that. Go back there and tell your brother to act like he was you on the phone.
No, Mom, that ain't gonna work. My camera was
on. Your camera was on?
Yes, because I always let them see my face because I'm fine, Mom. I'm so for real, Mom. I need your help.
Okay, well, then tell her I gave you a little medicine last night and you didn't know what you were saying. Who you like the most?
I like both of them.
Oh, my God, Cody. Go in the house and call me. I'm going to tell you how to get out of it.
Okay, thank you.
It's crazy. I told him to go to the bathroom first because he got to pee.
Man,
he probably go in the house.
Something else I just noticed in that video, he a ball player. Because he's wiping the bottom of his shoes like he was on the court. Pretty active.
That little boy was antsy out his pantsy, okay? So, Arpain, what do you think about that? Just watching it off the first look.
Yeah, first of all, it's funny because of the video, but it's cute because he's young, but it's a horror story for a guy growing up like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we want to keep it light, that's one thing. But I can't imagine what his mother's going to tell him on the inside.
Right.
Because instead of saying, listen, I want to talk to you later on tonight because you ain't supposed to be doing this kind of stuff at your age or whatever you're going to say. But she's leaning into it as opposed to discouraging it. And it's only going to get worse because he's going to get better at that. It's as simple as that. So there you go. That's what I say. I mean, like I said, it's cute and funny, but once you become a teen, once you become a grown man, it's no longer cute or funny.
So I had a question up, and then we'll move on. But what advice would you leave to the moms to give to their sons?
I probably wouldn't say anything to her because, like a lot of Black women, it would be wasting my energy. She'd probably sit back and tell me, that's my son, mind your business. Because if she's not asking for advice, there's no way I can give it to her because she ain't going to hear it. So if she came to me and say, hey, my son came to me with this issue, then maybe we could have a conversation. But I wouldn't offer it unless she was asking for it. And that's one of the things I learned in life, man. If people ain't asking you to help them with something, I'm not going to offer because they're not willing to receive it. At least, a lot of people aren't that way. That's what I would take.
Message.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for participating in these comments here. If you haven't already, definitely hit the like button. That will let the algorithm know that we're having this conversation. It's going to get a little good here. All right, we're just warming up. So I have another video that I saw here, and it is from the Angry Man podcast, I think his name is. But he had this video up, and I wanted to play it here so we could talk about this.
This is just the reality of it. So women, we're more educated now, and I think that we're furthering our education. So with that being said, we're going to hold off on the baby making. We're going to hold off until we get that great job, really career driven. And I don't think there's anything wrong with hoping that there's someone either on your level or higher than you.
So, okay.
Let him cook.
Go ahead, doctor. All right. So before, right, it was okay when the man made more money to be the one to buy everything, to do, treat you and all this other kind of stuff. And now that you make more money, you can't be that one. Right? You can't be the one to pay for the meal and because you're dating down. To me, by this particular study, I have to date down now. What is that?
Let him cook now.
I wanted to make more money. If there is a responsibility with making more money, first of all, I don't believe in any of it. But if there's a responsibility that comes with making more money, accept it.
Hot damn it, man. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
So
I don't know how many times I saw that, man. It was a repeat.
really,
Yeah, I saw that live too, but when he put his short there, I see that 100 times. Angry Bear was killing me, man. He's just killing me. Let him cook. That's great. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But go ahead, anybody.
Man,
Yes.
I agree. I looked at it too quite a few times, and I was feeling the same way, the same sentiment. Let them cook. Let them cook. 'Cause the thing that I say often is, women, by your own standards, you're not qualified to date the men that you want. By your own standards. So why are you continuously creating these standards that you can't even? If that's the case, then you shouldn't even be acknowledged by anybody who you're dating or who you want to date, because they're dating down. They're settling for you by your own standards. So let them cook. Let them cook.
So why don't you think women want to accept the responsibility of making more money? Why don't you think, okay, so man makes more money, women want him to pay for everything. Woman makes more money, she still feels as though he should pay for everything. I saw a video, and these weren't even our people. These were white folks, okay? And it was the street interviewers or whatever. And I saw it on 2 different occasions where the boy had maybe $2,500 in his bank account, right? And the girl had like $2,500 in her bank account. And he's like, you have me paying for everything and you have all this money. And she's like, well, yeah, it was a gift from my father or whatever the case may be. And she's like, you're the man, you're supposed to pay for everything. Why don't you think women want to take the responsibility of making more money? Paying for dates, paying the bills, but yet they want a man to do that.
Let them cook. Go ahead, Penny. Let them cook.
No, I thought Hank would. I guess he's waiting to be. Listen, it's funny. I was just talking about that with somebody else. Listen, I think women fail to realize that once you get to a certain level, the pool for men and women of equally yoked candidates go down. Men have been dating and marrying down since time immemorial. That's what we do, because we realize inherently that if I become a millionaire or if I'm in the 1 or 5%er, there's not that many women up there, right? So women are starting to realize if you become a 1 or 5%er, the expectation that there's going to be a pool of sharks waiting for you is ridiculous. And it's not like they don't kind of understand it, but I just think that they still have the hypergamy with them, right? So your hypergamy says that now that I'm at this level, I got to have somebody at that level or higher. Depending on how high you are, one, you can't deal with a man in that level because you're too used to being a boss. And if I'm a boss and you're a boss and you want to be a boss, and I accept you, you're going to have to come under my leadership, whether you like it or not. A lot of women like that don't want to do that, right? So you got to get used to marrying down. If in their jargon, but really it's just marrying somebody who's available. The pool is bigger, lower than you now. And a lot of women don't realize that. And a lot of women won't want to accept it. So they'll stay alone or freeze their eggs or do Ebony K. Williams and that kind of stuff. So it's just one of those things that I think they're blind to it. Women are kind of blind to certain things. If you're a middle-class chick, most likely you're going to look for a guy who's equally yoked or higher. The pool is bigger. But if you're in the 1-5%er, for you to expect there's a whole bunch of brothers just waiting for you, once you got there, it's childish kind of. It's a delusional, kind of thing. So I think that's what the lady was. So I think when he was saying what he was saying, she kind of got it with her expression, and I thought that was magic. hey, get used to it. You up there now, so you're gonna have to, and I hate saying lower your standards. You got to broaden your horizons. That's really what it is. And well, I'll just say that most women are not going to want to do that until their time runs out.
Okay, Hank.
Brother Hank.
Yeah. Look, if you got a woman who's that selfish, man, and shame on you, brothers. That's all I'm gonna say. But that, shame on you if you got a woman that selfish, that she wouldn't be willing to do that for you. That's pitiful. There's no way I would deal with a woman like that. And she was just bragging and being egotistical, but then it'd be beneath her to date a man who's just like I said, making a $50,000 type guy. She's still gonna want you to. That means you have to get a second or third job to pay for her lifestyle. That's what you want to do, and knowing she's $120,000 chick. I wouldn't mess with a chick like that. So why do I think women accept? Well, doesn't accept the responsibility? Is that what you're saying?
Why don't you think women want to accept the responsibility of making more money?
I think because that very situation, because they don't want to feel like they're going to be forced to feel obligated to take the lion's share of the bills or or anything on the responsibilities, anything like that. That's why I'm thinking that shit. That means just $1 less. I will take $1 less than him, just so I don't have to feel obligated to take on that burden. I did it when I was single, but I was single. Now with you, I shouldn't have to do it anymore. So now I could just stack my bread and sit back and look pretty. And the only time I'm gonna spend my money is, when I want to do something, that you may not approve of. I say I got my own money. I do what I want to do. So everything about that situation bad. Especially that girl, she looked like she lost her best friend after my man worked that reality check to her. But I think that's what it is.
That's hilarious.
Can I just add one thing, Hank? If you're done, I look at her face when she first said it. It was no malice there. I think she just completely blind spot to what she was saying. Women are so used to the natural order of things when men are supposed to take care of them. So my man, the way he explained it to her and her look and her expression once she got it, where he was coming from. I'm not saying she was innocent from what Hank is saying, but women are so used to not having to take care of a guy. It was just a natural instinct. So she was saying stuff without realizing that she had outkicked that kind of coverage because of where she's at. How much money she's making. The pool is just not that big. So whether that would change her in her dating or not is another story. But I think she got it a little bit. Go ahead.
Well, no, I think also she was looking like, shit, I don't care what you talking about. I'm not living this. Like she
selfish, entitled.
I'm not living like this. I'm not experiencing this. If a man gonna be with me, that's what he's gonna have to do, regardless.
I don't disagree with that.
She's probably getting. She's probably like I said, really living that lifestyle. Somebody's taking care of her like that. So that's why she can boldly say that. You know what I'm saying, and feel that confident about saying it. I assume this was a live newscast she was saying this stuff on. So
yeah, they were on there. They were on there.
She's living that lifestyle she just expressed. Yeah, she's living it. Somebody's doing it for her.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It's probably Sean doing it. Sean doing it.
Yeah, of course. Because I recognize those. You're right. I recognize those selfish, entitled, prideful women. I recognize them and I love them. They're selfish and prideful. Just all those looks that you saw were just pride. Look of pride. She started out with pride. We're getting more title. We're getting this and we're doing that and we're pride. Selfish, entitled, arrogance. That's what I would call it. And that selfish, entitled arrogance is running fluent in our communities. Yes, they are getting more rampant. How do we call them? Heifers. How you say, Hank? These heifers out. But yeah, selfish, entitled, prideful. I just want to put that in there because there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. It's a fine line between the two. And it shows up as pride when you are sitting there being arrogant. She wasn't speaking about from a place other than no humility whatsoever. No humility. So is it the enemy or the inner me? It's the inner me. That's what it is. It's the inner me, and that's it's pride. And I think, and we were speaking about this earlier, Precious, and now I'm a pen. I think it's because the men were so prideful when they got their money. They now recognize how to do it and how to be it. And I look at Payne's face as I say, selfish, prideful, arrogance, entitlement. That's what I call it.
Yeah, I think that some women they feel as though, well, if I make as much money as a man, then I won't have to necessarily take direction from a man because I already know where I'm going. Right. And so you have to, as a man, you have to then think, okay, well, what type of mind is she thinking with? Is she thinking with a men's mentality, or is she thinking with a wife's mentality? Is she thinking with a masculine mentality? All those things come into play when women are like, oh, well, we have higher education and we're making more money. And, being a housewife is a thing of the past. And those are not the things that we want. Yet you still want to be involved with a man in some type of dynamic. Even if you don't want to get married to them or whatever the situation may be, you still want to be involved with them. So when it comes to the money part, are you asking a man to take him out? Are you treating him out like you would want him to treat you out? Because if not, those are the things you should be doing if that's what you expect. I think that there's a fine line with expecting a man to be a provider and expecting, your money to be your money and his money to be y'all money. I think there's a lot of women who expect their money to be their money. And you have a lot of men who pander to women online who say, oh, well, it was this one guy that was like, I'll pay my woman X amount of $250,000 or something crazy. Said that he would pay his woman that a year or something like that. So she wouldn't have to worry about money. She wouldn't have to worry about, asking him for anything. And I think those guys are just not realistic. It's just not realistic for a man to pay his woman a crazy salary. So it doesn't look like, she has no money and she doesn't have to go to him for any type of financial, advice or anything. Those men make themselves look like men who aren't doing that, or men who have the one pot theory, or men who, are working jobs that are, that some people would not date a man because he's working a job. He's making those men look like they're doing something wrong and he's doing something right.
I can understand that, but no, he's really, in my opinion, saying, "Yo, yep," he's checking her pride because guess what? She just finished saying we get educated in places on learning how to be a worker, and we're getting more money. Yeah, who's giving you that money? Usually your male boss. And as men, we look at it just that way. We don't look at it as yeah, another man is giving you money. So he's saying, yo, if he's gonna give you money, I'll give you that money because that's the cost that it's gonna take. Because you sitting there, I say it all the time to women. Yes, your salary is your cost. Because all I gotta do is throw you that salary, and guess what? Now you gotta cooperate. But you don't like that reality because guess what? It's really that simple. You are cooperating for your salary. And if I was in the position that those men that you're referring to, that's all he's telling her. Yo, you cooperating anyway. So what I gotta do? Give you that salary? All right, here, take that. And if you're in a position to say, hey, take that, now you're in a position to really give them some understanding. Oh, you need to really calm down. You really need to evaluate your direction.
I think those are one-offs because even if you do give a woman that type of salary, she's still not going to treat you like she treat her boss.
That's you got to realize that's you're right but guess what? That's why if he's able to do that, best believe he is. Because guess what? He'll be like, all right, well, you're fired. Then
right. I'm saying those are like one-offs because there are still women who, you know, husbands provide everything for them. They don't have to work. They don't have to do those things. And they still treat the man like crap.
That's why I'm saying it the way that I'm saying it. You're right. That's why I'm saying it the way I'm saying it. It's because it's a humility. You sitting there talking about you got all this education and you getting this job. I'm going to give you that job. Now what? You ain't got nothing to say after that.
You know, I think we're reading a little bit more than I think it's just, I think what she said, it was just a natural occurrence for women. I just think that's just how women are. They look inward first about how they look through the prism of their own worldview, and they don't have the whole big picture. She moved herself out of the normal, regular working class woman space, but she's keeping that hypergamy with her, not realizing that she entered into another realm where you're not going to have a big pool of men who are going to be equally yoked with you or above. And if you find them, the rules are going to change. She just doesn't know that yet. I don't care how much of a boss chick you think you are. If I was a well-to-do guy, a one percenter, I wouldn't have any trouble with a woman who thinks she's a one percenter, because I would tell her right off the bat, you with me, the rules change. You know, that's why, you know, you haven't heard anything from Eve, for example, when she married that rich guy, right? Because he wasn't going to have it. Janet was quiet for 10 years until she got fully vested. And then she left the guy because she knew she couldn't be up there shaking her ass being married to that sheik. So she put the money in, she put the time in until she could cash out. And she cashed out at 10 years. So I think women kind of understand that certain men, you can't get away with your bullshit if they're higher than you, because they're not going to let you. Rihanna had a chance to marry a billionaire who was after her, but she didn't do it because she wanted to be Fenty Savage. So she gets her little effeminate dude that she's with, who, even though I think she actually likes him, but he can't tell her shit. You know, he's willing to walk behind her carrying the stroller and shit while she moves in front of him and stuff. You know, that's
Come on, ASAP Rocky on, man.
So I'm just saying that's how it is.
Wouldn't you rather a woman actually like a man than go with a billionaire who she don't really like?
Well, she might have. No, I think she could have. I think she liked the dude. She wasn't going to live under his purview. She would have to change who she is. You think he's going to let her walk out with a see-through thing with her nipples showing? No.
But you got to realize, reason being because he met her that way. He knew she was. Meaning he's in the industry first off, so he already knew what she was about.
No, you protected ASAP Rocky. I like the dude. They actually like each other. I've seen them when they, but he's still not her superior. I think she's comfortable with that. I think she's comfortable with that.
I think he realized from the start he wasn't her superior in money. But he from Harlem. He one of them trick type.
You got how many Simps there are in Harlem? They got a lot. They got Simps in Harlem too. Stop it. Don't matter where he's from.
But what I'm saying is, here's the difference.
Okay.
He is not a person who was thirsty for chicks. He had a lot of chicks following him. So
you're still missing my point.
I see.
Because you're talking from his perspective. Let's talk from her perspective. I'm sorry for cutting you off. Let's talk from her perspective.
All right,
You
her
know,
perspective. She had Chris, she had
no,
Jay. No, I'm
with
saying
him,
with
no.
him. Basically, he came up and trust me, he was reason why I'm using Harlem as a
Okay.
platform because they some slick talkers. They some trick type of they all into that pimping mentality and all of that. Tricking, pimping, all of that. And so he went up in her ear and he spit something to be like, yo. As a matter of fact, in some of the interviews, he was like, she ain't want me to smack her booty, but I did it anyway. She know. And you know what she did? Just smile. Which gave me the sense that as much as you sitting there saying, oh, she got all this, he got that. He's like, all right, yo, this is what's gonna be.
Yeah,
You
I
play
don't
your
disagree.
position. You play your position, keep getting that money.
Kind of
But let
breaking
me
up.
when you come home, this is what it's gonna be like.
Man, I don't think it's that way. But what I will give you is I think they actually like each other. I think that part of it is true. You know, so that makes a lot of difference right there. So they actually like each other. But I don't think she's marching to his drum. I don't. However, she's not walking around naked like she used to. So
I mean, again, and you don't give him any credit for that, but I'm
I
telling
know,
you,
I know. I'll give him some credit for that.
Just
Harlem
Listen,
cats,
when you talk about the pimps from Harlem, that's you know why that's not true? Because I'm from Harlem and I don't know how to I don't know how to pimp anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Your pimping game was over, man.
Man, you know, I had 7 years of
You
freedom.
knew how to pimp.
I had 9 years of freedom.
Wait. Hold on, Payne. I gotta say this. Can you knew how to pimp? You was getting chicks on gizzards. You was
oh what? Oh yeah. Actually, that is true. That is true. So there, I wasn't even taking credit for that. See how you had a blind spot. Oh man, that's funny.
Pimps bringing plates to the hoes. I can only imagine.
I don't know that Harlem, and I don't know that. He got cheeks, as he would call it, with chicken gizzards. Not even legs, not even chicken gizzards. And you
throw some chicken gizzards in a pot with some roux and a little flour, some onions, and some season that shit up, man, and tenderize those son of a bitch over some rice. Little music and shit back there, man. Have our own place. Oh, forget it.
No pimp.
That was a tenderoni. That wasn't no pimp.
Anyway,
Marvin Gaye playing in the background. All right. So we're gonna move
backgammon. Remember that game? The backgammon. You know.
Yes, backgammon. Oh my goodness. We're gonna move on to the next clip. The last clip is kind of long, so we're gonna move on to the third clip. Want to ask you guys: is this an inappropriate request for the second date?
Requested that on the second date the woman come with no makeup on. How do y'all feel about that?
How do we feel about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it. How dare you request how I show up to the date? First of all, like I haven't thought about it. I was just like listening to the segment,
right?
But I do believe that there is some validity in understanding who a woman is and what she does look like,
right?
Before you are too far along,
right?
Right?
I agree. I think requesting it is kind of outrageous.
Mhm.
You're not going to tell me what I can and can't wear, what I put on my body at all. That's just not happening.
Right.
But I feel like, I mean, eventually I'm going to want to be comfortable around you. So I'm going to, not wear makeup. I'm going to be in my sweatpants and my, baggy t-shirt just because that's how I am on a regular basis, But for you to request that, I don't think that's appropriate.
She's an idiot. She's an idiot.
Anyway. There go that pride again. We was just talking about it. That entitled pride. And you ain't gonna tell me what to wear. Yo, how dare you request what I put on? How dare you request me to pay for your second date? Let's go there. How dare you? But he don't want to hear that. So you're gonna sit there and tell me I don't have a right to ask you something that will make me feel comfortable in knowing who you are? Before I invest heavier in you, I already invested in you. I took you out on a date. Be happy. For some reason, you feel like is what I'm supposed to do. No, that's something I'm supposed to do. I don't mind doing it, but now I'm choosing to ask you to see you without all of your disguise. And you're gonna sit there and try to flip it on me how I dare you? Guess what? Okay, back to the streets. You for them streets.
Okay, so you don't think it's an inappropriate request. Hank, what about you?
No, I don't think it's inappropriate. I mean, it's all about how you phrase it. How do you make the request? You know what I'm saying? You can say it in a way, you know, that doesn't sound too demanding or intrusive, something like that, in my opinion. But no, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it at all. I mean, if that's what he wants, that's what he wants. You know, I want to see you, you know, in your natural state. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, do something that's gonna, you know, that's not going to require her. You know, I mean, you know, when you go and when you're asking her out, I'm sure you're gonna take it out all day. So I'm gonna ask her out on something that's not going to require, like, say, let's go hiking. I mean, something, you know what I'm saying? Let's go do something with nature, where now you know, you're doing something in the great outdoors, and you at your natural state. Wear some shoes that you don't mind getting dirty. You know, maybe some clothes that don't mind getting dirty. So then, you know, you put in a rim or a atmosphere. Okay, well, I just let my hair down and just be me. You know, just make sure you brush your teeth and put on some deodorant. That's all I ask. I don't want you that natural, but you know,
yeah.
Oh man, Hank, you sure you ain't from Harlem, man?
That's a good one, Hank. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm from Kentucky, baby. I'm from the country.
Because that was some Harlem slick shit. Let me just go ahead and, you know, let me just go ahead and you know, like, this is what Harlem do. Don't worry about this hand right here. Just focus on this hand. So we ain't gonna tell you that we want to see you natural. We just gonna, hey, why don't you come out to let's go hiking. That was some slick.
Everybody is not a scammer. Okay,
I mean,
he's a country guy, so hiking,
you're right.
think that is really natural to him. Whereas New York, scamming is something very natural.
No. What I'm saying is, you're right. It's not, but the word trick is you're kind of doing it to trick. You're kind of saying, hey, I don't want to directly tell you. I don't want to be trying directly open with you. I'm going to find a way to soothe it, which is fine, and I can learn from that
because she still might come all
right.
There's some
women
you
can still have a wig on.
I've known women, I mean, since 7th grade, still wearing weaves. I'm like, I've never seen her wear hair.
And that's why I called it, that's why I said tricking, because instead of just saying, yo, I want to see you without makeup, you're trying to persuade her to not put on makeup, and it can backfire on you. And instead of just saying, yo, you know what, I would really and make the request directly, instead of beating around the bush. Just directly say, yo, I want to see you without makeup.
Well, all right. So listen, I hear you. One of my 10 steps to vetting a woman is actually seeing her in her natural state. Because I believe that women who can't be in their natural state have a mental issue, right? And I don't want to deal with that, right? So that would have been, I wouldn't come out and say, well, my next date, do this. I would find, you know, if we're really courting, if you're just another chick I'm just taking out, it may not come up. It depends on how serious I want to be with you. So there's, like Hank said, there's a way to approach this subject. But it's one of my things on the list. I got to see you in your natural state. It's as simple as that. And if you tell me, if any woman, forget about just the natural state, any woman who tells me that, you know, you can't tell me how to dress or what to do and all that, then, you know, we're not going to go any further anyway, because it's gonna manifest itself in other things. You know, as soon as a woman says, you know, you can't tell me anything, then, you know, you don't want to be with a man who's a leader. And I'm not saying I'm a leader. You don't want a real relationship with anybody. You're looking for a partner. Let's sign an LLC and let's just have done with it, sex with benefits and shit like that. And you go your way and I go. But any woman who wants to be with a man who's on his square, you're going to have to take some kind of direction. Not to say that you can't correct him when you need to, and he should be able to take that. But when you come out and say the stuff, the idiotic thing that lady said, it's just indicative of her mindset. It might be on the clothes today. It might be on the clothes today, but it'll be on something else tomorrow. You can't tell me what to do.
Agreed, but you are a leader, Payne, and stop talking about you ain't saying you're a leader. You're a leader, but here's the point of why I'm more direct, because you're playing the game and she playing the game. So if you say it directly and she comes off with that, you can't tell me what to do, then you nipped it in the bud early. You don't even got to go on that.
I don't disagree with that, but it's still decorum on how you could do it. I mean, it depends. Listen, it's not really being deceitful, Sean, to say to have decorum and how to get stuff out of a person. That's not really being deceitful.
If you're trying to get something out of somebody and you're being suave, decorum, however you want to word it, you're trying to persuade and manipulate something out of somebody. Officers do it often, and we don't like it when officers do it. But they go ahead and say, well, someone's still probably going to tell you. They're not doing. They're just having decorum on trying to get the information. But we don't like it.
You're conflating different things. You're conflating different things.
Right.
Absolutely, you're right.
And honestly, a submissive wife does that naturally. Like she does. That's how a woman moves a man. And so if a man does it to a woman in a way of saying, hey, let's go hiking, let's go swimming, let's I'm gonna still take you out on a date, we're gonna still do something, we're gonna be active, but let me see how you present yourself in this type of activity. Is it going to be the same way that you present yourself at a 5-star restaurant?
You're right, but why can't you just say, I want to see you the way that you are?
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but I just don't think that telling a woman that you want to take her on on a date that involves activity that you might be sweating, you're going to be outdoors. I don't think asking her to go on a date like that is tricking or deceiving her in any way, shape, type, form.
If your intention is to see her naturally, it is. There's no way around it. You are sitting there telling her one thing to get to something that you don't want to tell her directly.
Except if you really want to go hiking. Except if you really want to go.
That's why I said. That's why I used the word intention.
My head are paying like you really do want to go hiking, but that's just another way of saying I don't think a man would want to go hiking just to see a woman without makeup.
But that's what I'm saying. If that was the intention that we were speaking about. We were speaking about how do you get her to show makeup without telling her directly.
I got one for you, Sean. If she came to the hiking event with her lace front on, that should tell you something too.
Oh,
see, the lace front, I can't say. The makeup, yes. If she come with the lashes and the makeup,
with the lace front,
you missed the assignment.
But if she still got the lashes and all the makeup and all that on, then yeah.
I mean, but she's gonna sweat under that head.
But she's used to that sweating. That's what she does naturally. So that ain't gonna be something that's gonna change. Now it might change.
I don't know where y'all go hiking at. Where I go, there's some bugs. You don't want them to goddamn wig because you taking that shit home with you because they gonna build a goddamn nest in your shit if you let them. So that bullshit.
I agree.
But water park, something I'm telling you, they're not gonna let the wig go unless there's a really good reason.
Like I said, and I'm not going. I wouldn't be tricking her into do because I go camping in the summertime. That's what I do. I got a tent, I got a tarp. We lay down before we put the tent down. All that. We got wood. I got spare wood, trees, and all that.
I go hiking all the time.
That's what I do. So
yeah. I go hiking.
We go fishing. You know what I'm saying?
I don't go fishing.
We do all that.
Yeah. I see. My point isn't what you're asking her to do because I agree those are great things to act and you do get a lot of naturalness naturally, So I'm not disputing that portion. I'm saying, but if your intention is doing that specifically to see her in her natural state, and you can't just tell her I want to see you in your natural state, that's what I'm speaking for.
Okay.
Okay.
Understood. Yeah, I don't think men, should have an issue with being direct, but I also think that there are ways that you can get what you're asking for without being as direct. Because again, your women do get very sensitive around those topics. They just do.
You're
Um,
right.
and no matter how you put it, it just could be a point of detention for them,
And you're right. But this is the point. The reason why I say that is because that automatically shares that you're not for me. I'm
right.
not gonna wait. So I'd rather tell you directly and you show all of those things, get defensive, get sensitive, whatever it is you're gonna do. No, I ain't doing that because that just gives me a quicker way to identify before the streets. No, I'm just
I mean, but look, the example I gave though, no Sean, that could kill two birds with one stone, right? Like I said, I'm the type that would go camping, go hiking, and stuff like that. So I'll do that. So that's one of the things that I like to do. So that would let me know a lot of things. Is she willing to dress down and I guess almost like lower herself to what she's used to and do these type things? Is she's willing to be vulnerable, and put herself in an uncomfortable position, even though this ain't something she normally does or ever done before in her life, but she's willing to do that. Why? Because she gets the opportunity to spend quality time with Ink. Is she are she gonna let me know her true colors? Hell no, I don't do shit like that. Okay, well that lets me know more than likely this ain't gonna work because I'm a usually go camping about once a month. And if this is not what you want to do, I don't want to be going by myself. Saying I want to go with my lady. And if you my lady, you don't want to go, and I'm just there, then how is that going to look? What is that going to be?
I agree.
How's it going to work? I'm out there all weekend, and you just away from me is like, okay, what are we doing here? And then people gonna be asking, well, Hank, man, why don't you bring your lady with you? Oh, the heifer they won't come. She too stuck. She won't take out them lakefront go.
I agree. Now, Hank, I agree. And that's why I couldn't really, I was messing with you, teasing you when I was saying Harlem, because technically I understood what you were saying. I was just messing with you. But there are literally some Harlem type of cats, and I'm picking off on them, that will do that intentionally because they ain't got the balls to just say, yeah, can I see you? And it's not that you got to say it that way because I agree with you. You can say it however you want to get to the point. Because I too go camping and I ask that question, would you go camping? Because that does show a lot about a person, especially if they're not from the city. If they don't want to go camping and they're from down south, I'm questioning that. Like, wait a minute. So why wouldn't you even think to? Because I'm just saying I like to go camping. I'd love to take you out there one time. And if you're not willing to consider that to your point that you just made, then yeah, you're not the right person because your value is somewhere where mine is not. I want something natural. You want something. Yeah, no. Anyway,
I think that women should be mindful of that as well. I remember dating a guy, and the first date I had on makeup. Not a lot. I don't like this foundation and things of that nature. And so the next day I saw him, I was like, I'm not going to wear makeup. I'm not going to wear the foundation. I'm not going to, do. I may have had on like mascara on my lashes. I don't wear fake lashes. But I was like, I'm not going to wear makeup because if he like me, he gonna like me. If he don't, he ain't. So I think women should be mindful of that because a lot of men don't like all the makeup. They would rather see you in your natural state. And I think any day, unless it's like probably a special occasion or black tie event. Like I think men just a lot of times women really don't even realize how much more men would hit on them in their natural state rather than them being all dolled up. Is usually in the grocery store or when you're just running out, you just got your, you're running tights on and a t-shirt, and guys are trying to holler at you rather than when you all made up and done up. So I think women could be a little bit more mindful of that as well, because you don't always have to be looking like there's a red carpet around, and there is no red carpet around.
True. I speak 2 languages. I speak English and I speak body language. And sometimes when you're wearing makeup and that's something that you need to do, it tells me a lot about you. It tells me about insecurities. It tells me about self-esteem. And those are things that if you're not willing to acknowledge, I'm not willing to work on because that's a lot of work. That's a lot of patience that you're going to have to deal with mentally. And quite frankly, it's kind of like I'm one on honesty. I'm big on honesty. And that is one of the first keys that triggers dishonesty to me. This a lot of makeup and foundation because to me it seems like you're hiding something. You're hiding. It's your, huh?
I said she is hiding something, you know. So
well, as a woman, it's not necessarily that women are already always hiding something. It could just be to enhance, you know, what she looks like already.
I
But
agree.
if she has to always wear it, if she can't go without it, you know how women be like, "Oh, I want you to pay for my hair and my nails, and it's $500." Well, that makeup and all them brushes and all that stuff goes into that. So I think she's hiding something if she can't go without it. But if a woman, you know, wears makeup one day, you see her without makeup, like I can't even remember the last time, honestly, I really wore foundation like that. I think honestly it messes up your skin when you wear it all the time anyway. So I think that, you know, if you can't go without it and you always got to have it on, then yes, maybe you're hiding something. Maybe you need to call a dermatologist. Maybe you really need to get your skin together and work on your skin and not what you put on your skin. But I think that a lot of women do it to just enhance themselves. But some women do go overboard and they do it.
No, but Precious, you know what? You're right. But you're talking at one point. What you said was most women they would wear makeup to some kind of moderation. Everybody agrees with that. Nobody has. Most men don't have any issue with a woman wearing a little bit of makeup. We understand that. But that's not. I don't think that seems to be the norm anymore. But I think the sisters they all look the same. It's like they all been dressed by a drag queen.
Yeah.
Right? You're an exception here. The same flowing hair, the little baby shit up here, and the eyelashes and all that kind of stuff. The horrible thing. Not everybody with the horrible fingernails. What I'm just trying to say is, it depends on what pool you're swimming in as a man, but it just seems like the ones who dominate these damn YouTube spaces and Instagram spaces and TikTok spaces, they pretty much all look the same.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, so you don't know what's natural, what's not, and we're almost starting to say, well, can we tell whether you're a man or a woman? I mean, so the whole notion is that's who I'm talking about. Women with a little bit of rouge here and there, you know, nobody has any issues with that. But I know I look for it. When I see a woman, the first thing I see in her face is not the lipstick or anything. I say, does she have fake eyelashes on? Right? You know, even if they're not real big butterflies, those are real eyelashes. And then I could almost assume for most women, you know, they have a wig on, some kind of wig. And the good ones are expensive. They need to be maintained. They need to do all that kind of stuff. So I would just have an issue with that. Now, I'm biased, of course. My wife had a lot of natural hair. And, you know, I'm going to just say this. One of the things that I noticed with my wife, she didn't mind me playing with her hair. Right? So I was just naturally drawn to playing with it, no matter whether she made it up or not. So I gave her a bump up for that. Because a lot of women, once they had their hair done, you mess with it, they want to kill you. She never complained about me like fooling around. I never would mess it up really, but I always put my hand on her hair, like touching it. So I don't know where I came with just a tangent thought, right? But it's all natural. My daughters and my daughters have all natural 4C hair from their mother. I try to tell them they came from me, but when they look at me, say, no, that's not you. But you know, and so they relish washing their hair and doing all that kind of stuff because it takes time,
right?
You know, so so maybe I'm biased because my wife instilled that into my daughters and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, but that's you know the biggest thing. I think that time is the biggest thing. When you said it takes some time. I think that women would rather pay for that instead of take the time to do it themselves, take the time to figure out what products work perfectly with their hair. And that in itself takes time because you gotta use a product long enough to see if it works correctly. The correct tool, like in the kitchen, if you want the correct utensils, you're not gonna be able to, cook or eat food the right way. So I think that the time, the exploration, a lot of women don't even know themselves. So they don't know their skin. They don't know their hair. They don't know what it takes to maintain it and to keep it nice and looking presentable. There are women who will take the time to do that, and then there are women who will pay for other people's time to do it, and then there are women who will pay to do of that nature for themselves, but they won't take the time to take care of their own hair under the wig. They won't take the time to take care of their skin, the makeup that they're putting on every day, or whatever the case may be. So I think that's a huge issue with women with all the makeup and things of that nature, even with the lashes. I'm trying to think what maybe in the last 10 to 15 years, I thought it was weird to watch because I play basketball, but I don't really watch women's basketball like that.
Yeah.
It was so weird to see these girls with lashes.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you not sweating them out, wiping them off? Like I couldn't even imagine playing basketball with lashes on. I mean, I don't wear them because I don't even know how to get them on and all of that. But I could not imagine playing basketball and sweating the way I do and just the physicality of it. I'm having lashes on.
Well, here's what it is, Precious. First off, speaking of time, before we go into there, time. It's time to like, subscribe, donate. So if anybody's here listening, they did not like, subscribe, or donate, can you do that right now, please? Please do that. Thank you. But it's now they're now almost woven in the eyelashes to where it's not something that you put on like you used to by yourself. They're actually getting almost like implants, so to speak. One of my ex used to do lashes, and it's literally a tedious process where she had to use a big magnifying glass and put one in at a time to make it look natural. Now those big ones, this was prior to that being a style. So I don't know. And what I was going to say when I said I speak those languages, I said a lot of makeup. I'm not saying it triggers the thought that are you hiding something? Not that you are. Questions, and I'll find out. But that's when I have different questions now. Like now, I'm kind of wonder: is this something that you're doing? Like wigs and weaves. I'm a natural person, but I started learning through questions that sometimes they're wearing a wig because they don't want to always have to get up and do their hair because they don't want to take that time. So I could respect that. But they said, yeah, but I don't mind. And they would show me their natural hair or something along those lines. They like, nah, it's not the guy, and that then curbs the idea of them disguising. So it's not that I'm saying that it's a disguise because they're wearing it. I'm just saying that it could be triggers the thought that now I need to investigate a little further to find out where the head is.
Okay. And honestly, just like BBLs are going out of style, I think all that stuff will go out of style eventually. I mean, they'll probably come back, but I think women are saying that they are going back to their natural selves because all the carbon copies are, played out. Nobody wants that, but it's like, why would you want that in the first place? So for you to revert back to your natural body, to me, doing all that stuff is counterproductive. And it becomes counterproductive because you're going to want to go back to your natural body. You're going to want to go back to what God naturally gave you, because honestly, anything that you put in your body is foreign. So your body has to work, to accommodate it. And it doesn't always work like that with these women. And so they say that they go back to their natural bodies because it's not in anymore. But I honestly think that whatever that they're pumping into their butts and putting into their butts and their boobs and stuff, that stuff is working against you. And you're only getting older, you're having children, things of that nature. Like your body is constantly changing. Your body changes every 7 years. So to do all that stuff and not think that it's not going to have a huge impact on your health is foolish. But all the other external stuff, not necessarily an impact on your health, but not taking the time can lose you time when it's in terms of dating and really wanting something genuine. Men do want to look at something real versus something manufactured. So and even if he does like looking at manufactured, that's all he gonna do. He gonna look at it, maybe play with it for a little bit, but he's not really gonna take it serious. So, just being mindful of that. But yeah, I wanted to play that clip. Now the last clip is pretty lengthy. Now, we've been talking about this Pop the Balloon show. We always play the clips of the actual moment they're popping the balloons and giving their reasons and things of that nature. But I came across this clip of kind of how they're doing now. And there was a couple who did match. They did go on a date. They actually went out of the country.
Wow.
And telling their story. And I want you guys' reaction to this. Now, this is like a 20-minute clip, so we're going to break it up in between, because in between you can kind of tell some things, but I wanted to get you guys' reaction. I believe the guy's name is Eric and the girl's name is Jocelyn. And so they tell their story, they go to Greece, and when they come back from Greece, they realize something.
Have matched on the show. Have you guys gone on a date? Have you hung out? All that good stuff?
Yeah, we've gone on multiple dates.
Now, just from looking at him, do you guys recognize him from the show? And maybe his demeanor when he was on the show? Do you guys recognize? I don't think he had his locks down on the show. I think they were maybe pulled back.
I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of the shows enough, but I don't remember him.
All right, I'm gonna keep playing. Maybe it'll come, and maybe it'll come to you.
No, I don't. I don't watch the show that much, but no, he don't look recognizable. But he does have some of those things I was just talking about.
All right, let it play.
So I asked her if she would like to go on a vacation trip to a European country of her choice. She decided on Santorini.
There was this area, like this town called Oia. It's where most of the houses are white, but there's a few blue tops, like blue.
Oh,
roofs.
I've seen that. Yeah,
that was the main thing I wanted to do. So we saw that, and it was nice. We watched the sunset from there.
We had our very first argument on the 29th.
Not you remembering the date.
Well, I'm a very detailed person.
Okay.
I take a lot of notes. She just decided. I mean, this is literally. I went outside to take a break, and she sent me a text. I'm going to the airport. It was so abrupt. It caught me off guard. So I was like,
"Well, how did that trip end?" Or
Arlette, why are you always trying to get to it?
Let's get to it, because I'm feeling a lot of vibes right now, and I don't know if it happened on the trip, after the trip, or who wants to start it off?
We had our very first argument on the 29th.
Not you remembering the date.
Well, I'm a very detailed person.
Okay.
I take a lot of notes. I try to be introspective, so it wasn't really a big deal, but should I talk about it, or?
I would just like to say that we realized on this trip that we're not as compatible as we thought we were. We just had disagreements, and we just realized that we're great people. We're just not great for each other. And I personally would like to leave it at that.
Even I will be fair, I will be honest. I am to some degree stumped at the decision not to continue. And we've spent a lot of time throughout the argument working through, the reactions, but never really addressing the initial cause.
Okay.
And, it did start off with her just saying she wants to leave. And
the first disagreement, she said,
that was the second disagreement.
Oh, okay.
The first disagreement was when I came to her place.
Austin.
The first time, yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, I was staying at an Airbnb, but on the last day, I decided we were gonna go over there and pack and stuff. But everything was everywhere, messy. She seemed like she was doing a lot, so I wanted to step in and help. So I was going in to move some shoes around, and then she was reprimanded me, I guess is the way to say it. And just like that would piss her off for me to move stuff around. And so
Did you
I
ask her
felt-
before you just started moving
Well,
stuff?
I didn't.
Okay.
But but that's the thing is, I didn't want to make a big deal of it. She asked me to take the trash out.
Okay.
And I did. But I also felt like she had said to me that she would like to keep an open space, a safe space where I could just tell her things in the moment. So I think for me, it was also a good point to test that out. Is it okay for me to tell you that the way you're saying that to me made me feel some type of way?
Okay.
So
So obviously you guys worked through that
Worked
one.
through it,
'cause
yeah.
You went to Greece afterwards still, right?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, and we talked about it a bit at the airport, and then we went on a trip. Everything was great up until I think the fifth day or so. I don't want to go into too many details just out of respect to her as well.
Yeah.
But I think that at some point I also, she wants to go slow, which is fine. I was trying to be respectful of that as a boundary, but I felt that I'd been just going on at her speed for
Okay.
most of the time. So I also wanted to set some boundaries to help me respect her boundaries. So I think that's where the initial communication malfunction occurred, perhaps. And she, to backtrack, I when people argue, everyone argues a certain way. My way of calming down is to take breaks and move away and relax, write things down, and then come back and talk about them. And I told her this in the beginning. We were trying to figure out our argumentative styles. So when this happened, I took a break and I went to sit on a stoop, and and so while I was there just talking to a friend of mine, she sent me a text that she wanted to leave and asked if I could take her to the airport.
This is in Greece.
That was in Greece, like
Okay.
about the fifth day or so. And so so I was just like, well, we have an ATV first of all, so I can't drive you to Greece. But I didn't want to do it. I said, if you want to go, you can go. But I asked her not to go. I said, just take a moment, calm down, relax, and then you can decide later on. So that was kind of where things started spiraling.
Okay, so Jocelyn, Eric kind of touched on a bit that at one point during the trip, I believe you said on the fifth day, you said that, yeah, I'm leaving, all that stuff. What led you to come to that point?
What led me to come to that point was how we disagreed. We said words that were hurtful to each other. And I held grudges against him, which caused me to be uncomfortable while being there. And I didn't want to be uncomfortable on a vacation when it's supposed to be a good time. The way we handled the situation in general just showed ourselves. Like I showed off, he showed off, and then it just wasn't a comfortable environment to be in, especially for it to be in a different country and we don't really know each other. I just didn't feel at ease being there for more days with him. So I felt like at the time, the best way to get out of an uncomfortable situation is to leave.
All right. So far, Sean, you say you speak two languages, English and body
Yeah.
language. So
One, body language. He's very meticulous and he's orderly from his hair and in the way that he's speaking. And he made a mention that when he went to her, she was disorderly. Her house was not in order. And what I read is that he was imposing order and she was resisting it. And because he was imposing it, she resisted it in almost like a temper tantrum type of way. Fine, I just want to go, and you're in a whole nother country, and that's just not right. And I think that the body language that I'm reading is that she realizes that in hindsight. And so I guess they'll eventually will speak on it, but I think she realized that some of her ways were just because she was triggered, and she handled it at the time probably appropriately for the circumstances. And he also is because he's so meticulous, he can be nitpicky and almost antagonistic. And I think that that is something that he might want to address and recognize within himself, that in his self-reflection, as he said, he does naturally.
Okay. Now the disorderly part came in actually at her apartment. So they had an argument at her apartment before they went to Greece, and then after, because like she said, she held grudges and things of that nature. So then they got to Greece and they had another one. Arpain, what do you think about the exchange so far?
It's fun. First, one, I remember him now. He used to have his hair in a bun.
Right.
He routinely got rejected, from I remember, because of his demeanor. Some women pick up on that. I think when he went over her house, he overstepped his boundaries, and she let him know it, even if she invited him in. So I think he did that because of the way he is. I would like to know who paid for the trip. They didn't say that. I don't know if that comes out later on.
I believe he did, but then something, she asked to leave, so then she paid for her flight back. But
But I believe mentioned I gave her the option to go on a trip wherever she wanted to go in Europe. So he paid for it.
All right, so that makes a difference, right? Because listen, a lot of stuff is just natural, man. He wanted to bust those cheeks, and she wasn't giving it to him, right? And so in his mind, he was saying, we could say, oh, I don't know if he ever had sex with her or not. It doesn't seem like it, or he didn't do a good job. Every single man, good, bad, indifferent, if you're a man and you're a woman, you wanna bang her ass out. That's just the way we are. And so he paid for it. And I don't think things were moving. See, I think that one of the things that men understand, that even if you could wait for it, you know whether you're moving in the right direction till one night having that nice bang out night, and it wasn't happening. And I think he was getting a little antsy about that. And he probably was putting a little bit more pressure than she wanted it. And, and maybe she was playing the game with him, saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to have this trip for free. You ain't getting none. And I think he tripped the tripwire. That's how I look at it. So one lesson to all you men out there: don't be paying for no chick to do all that kind of stuff, because your natural expectation is that you're going to be busting those cheeks. That's it. That's just the way it is. And after you take somebody to Italy, a romantic place and all that kind of stuff, and she's giving you the, here's a towel and some Vaseline, go back to your room and take care of yourself. No. So he blew it, because he should have never paid for a trip at all. She's coming or whatever. But so, I mean, that's just my first inclination. And now I can see her body language. She's completely turned off by him. Whether she's a user or not, I think he blew it, because he did too much and he expected too much. And he just got caught out there. All the stuff he's saying now is, that's just my thought. I'll land it there. To me, some things are just natural, just basic. He wanted some, she didn't give it to him. All right, maybe someone will come out in the rest of this thing, but that's how I look at
it. Hank.
Hank's face. Jesus.
Because Arpain real quick.
We say I'm gonna land it there, and then he'll come with about 2 more sentences.
I'm done, man. I'm gonna mute, man. I'm gonna
Payne, you always do that. I'm gonna land it there, and then you got about 2 more sentences before you even land. I got you. You didn't come to a complete stop yet. I got you. Look, man, this guy's a neat freak. She's not. He was trying to help because he was more, like you said, he's well organized. That's because he even admitted it, you know, when he sit there and say, "I remember the date."
He's
so
a trainer.
You know,
he trains. He trains.
Okay, so yeah. So yeah, very much so, and
that says a lot.
Yeah, and so with that being said, there was a bad connection right then and there, dude. If I'm gonna get in, I'm not taking no woman on a trip that I never had sex with, because please believe me, I'm expecting to get some ass while I'm on a romantic trip like that, and I let this heifer choose the trip. Oh yeah. Shit, no. There's that. Look, we just not. That's my lady. I'm not. She's just not some girl. That's my lady. I'm not just taking some chick I just met off the show a month ago, taking on a trip like that. There's no way. But he did, so there's nothing you can do about it now. You just got to deal with it. But once you got into an argument before you went on a trip, you should either cancel that trip, make sure you had insurance on that trip, because you don't know what's going to happen prior to this trip. You know, I'll make the decision, go by yourself. There's nothing wrong with going on trips by yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. But at least you'll be at peace. Once I got to the first argument with this woman before I went on the trip, yeah, I would have said, don't worry about it. Yeah, you ain't got to pack your clothes. Don't worry about it. You good. You stay here. You enjoy yourself. I understand. And I'm gone. I'm enjoying myself. And matter of fact, I'm going to be even spiteful and send her pictures. That's how spiteful I'm going to be to her ass. I'm going to send her pictures of my ass on this goddamn trip. You know what I'm saying? And if I find a couple single ladies over, come on. Now, Payne, I don't know about this Vaseline. Who the hell uses Vaseline? Grace.
He's showing his age, man.
Oh, is that old head shit? Okay,
yo, man, it's just a figure of speech for everything's Vaseline, man. You know, take out there. I should have said lube, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, God, lube. Lube is lube, man. Shit, you know, lard, man, will work if it's bad enough.
Hey, when I think about Vaseline, I think about my man Ice Cube. I think about my man Ice Cube, no Vaseline, and what he was describing in that song.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, all right, we're gonna keep on going.
I'm not saying that was the best decision. Maybe I could have stayed and talked to him and talked it out, but at the time, I did what felt right to me.
Okay. And so you did actually end up leaving?
Yes, I left.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then so after you left, have you guys been in any type of contact, any communication? You have?
Yeah, so after we left, Eric still had to come back to my apartment because we shared a suitcase coming there. So he still came back to my apartment. We talked it out. We hugged. Like, we had like every discussion, every disagreement we had, we talked about off camera, and I've apologized. He's apologized. A lot of things were already discussed. So when he came back to the apartment, like, it was fine. At least in my head, it was fine. I walked him to the door. It was cool. Like, in my head, it was cool. And even afterwards, when he flew back to Las Vegas, I checked on him to make sure he landed safely, making sure he's getting sleep. He told me has more appointments. So we did keep in contact for the day after when we landed back in the States.
Okay, I see here. Jocelyn, you stated, like, you know, you guys were having disagreements. You were saying, like, hurtful things to one another, all of that. How was it, like, dealing with those disagreements?
It was aggravating. We were disagreeing on things that we were disagreeing about the boundaries that we both set for each other, which is just very childish on both of our ends. But after that, we chose to react off of our emotions at the time. So, yeah, in the morning time, I didn't really think that the situation was as bad as it was. But in the morning time, like Eric had like left, and I think you were doing laundry. I mean, he had things to do. I don't really want to say he was just up and left, but just that entire day, for the most part, we didn't really speak. It was either he was in the room and I was in the living room, or he was out shooting footage, or he was out doing laundry. So we just really weren't talking on the day after we had that huge disagreement. It was to the point, it was almost as if we were avoiding each other. And it was just weird.
So you got up the next day and just says,
Well, I told her beforehand that I had to do laundry. I'd run out of clothes. I travel with a bag, you know. So I went out to do laundry. I went out running 3 miles up the hill. I was tired. When I came back, I went to bed. But before I went to bed, we'd made a plan, something she wanted to go see about 5 p.m. or so.
Okay.
And I'd slept through it. And when I woke up, I asked her, hey, you still want to go do that thing? And she's like, no. So I was like, okay, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to go and shoot some pictures or something. I'd lost the key to the apartment. So I had to go back and look for it. So that's what I did instead. So I was going back to the location where I'd run to. I found the key, I came back. And that's then where we had another set of conversations.
So you see how the stories are conflicted there. She's like, oh, he up and left. And then she's like, well, I don't want to make it seem like he just up and left. He had things to do. But she said something that was very, very vital in the first couple minutes that I played. And she said that she holds grudges. And unfortunately, when a woman holds grudges, it's like nothing the man does is going to seem innocent or it's going to seem like it's not really a big deal. When you're holding a grudge, everything's going to seem like a big deal. So she's thinking that he left, and he's saying, well, look, I communicated with you before I left to let you know what was going on. So I think that they had a huge communication miscommunication. But then again, I think, with her holding a grudge really made it unfavorable experience for both of them, because like she said, she didn't have to leave Greece, and then within him getting up, doing laundry, obviously you don't have no washer and dryer, the man only have a certain amount of clothes. He went for a run. I guess he's a content creator in some capacity. He's doing content or footage, taking pictures, whatever he does, but all of that seems like he was doing that against her. What do you guys think about that exchange between them two, and how she described it to be versus what he described it to be?
I agree. I agree with you. What you're saying. I'll be real quick. I agree with her. What you're saying. I think that's one of the things that not women, but some women are that kind of thing. I can see that. I mean, even with my wife, sometimes she presupposes certain things on me when we talk, and I tell her all the time, and not too much anymore. I said, you can't really anticipate how I'm gonna behave or act without you telling me what you need. Don't say, well, you're never gonna do this anyway, or because she's presupposing how I'm gonna act before she even tells me how she feels. It took me a lifetime to break her out of that shit, So I can see this lady thinking that his little movements, everything she's taking it personal, and it's not even about her, So the way she feels is that okay, he's not talking to me because of something. He's not doing this because of something. And to him, he's just going through a normal day. Right. And so I can take it. I understand that. Whether it's right or wrong, it's an interpretation that a lot of women have of men, because they see men through their own eyes. And we don't behave that way, but a lot of women get that wrong. So that's how I would take it.
Go ahead, Sean.
I just wanted to make sure he was done. there's 3 words that I've learned recently, and they're pretty significant. And she has too. First one is hypergamy. Hypergamy. That's one we spoke about it earlier, and it has nothing to do with this clip. I'm just saying these 3 words they are in our vocabularies now, and they're toxicity, toxic. That's the second one, and trauma. And those last 2 is what we can talk about that she has. She has trauma, and that trauma is causing a lot of toxicity within this relationship, within their communication, because she's holding grudges, which is part of the trauma, and which is, I'm sorry, a reflection of the toxicity. Because she's holding it as part, it means that she has been traumatized and hurt somewhere before, and it's a reflection that's triggering her and why she's acting out. And it's funny because I can identify and see these things, but when you bring it to people's attention, who you're involved with, their first reaction is defensiveness. I say that because if I say it to people that I'm not involved with, their first reaction is embracing it. And the difference is because they think that when you have that trauma, you think like she's thinking this, I'm doing something, that there's some type of plot plan or some type of thing against her. And so she's defending that. Whereas somebody who I don't know doesn't have that opportunity, because there's no way I could be plotting, if you just met me, that I could be plotting against you. So with her, she's a lot of her past traumas, unhealed trauma, is really reflecting on their communication ability. And he seemingly is very clear and very concise and very honest. If you ask him what's going on, he will tell you, well, this is what's going on, this is why it's going on, this is what I'm thinking about what's going on, and this is how I want to deal with what's going on. Whereas I don't think she's ever dealt with anybody in that capacity, and she's realizing it. Is the body language again. She's realizing it, and has realized it since she went on that trip. She's realizing some of these flaws that she's actually noticing, because she's still trying to get mad at him. And when he explains it, it almost makes her feel stupid.
Right,
Because she's
right.
like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But she didn't have the mental fortitude to deal with it at that time, because her emotional regulation is also an issue.
Yeah, she had the fight and flight, well, fight versus flight, and she chose to fly and go back home. And then with the catching offense to what he did when he's really trying to give her space based upon how she's reacting. Hank, did you want to chime in here, or you want to keep going with the video?
Well, I was gonna say she's very vague with her information. The reason why I think she doesn't want to look like the bad person. I look like the bad guy. I just think that's what it is. She don't look like the bad person. She looks real bad, and has she responded and a lot of stuff. You know, she's real childish, and to sit there and say she holds grudges says a lot about her. She's still holding off some boyfriends, three or four boyfriends ago, and so she's holding it over him about what he's probably doing or what he's done, and gave up goddamn PTSD flashback, and now she's tripping. Every little thing he does is gonna be a problem. Yeah, she needs some help. And man, he made a mistake by asking to go on a trip, and now you dealing with this and talking about he was cordial on the way back, you know, and want to make sure, yeah, you try to keep the lines of communication up, because you realize he's a good dude, and he seemed like a provider type dude, but you're just not ready, and you want him to be patient and just to hang around. Matter of fact, you try to put him into the friend zone, see if you could hold him there long enough to get your shit together, and then you know, spin the block and see what's happening. Now, if that was me, there's no way. She done for. Yeah, it ain't gonna be turning, spinning the block on this. I would have never went on that goddamn trip. But you know, it is what it is.
Hey,
Yeah,
pretty
me to
good.
also add, I think part of what this whole thing is that she feels guilty that she used him as well. As soon as she got back, the maintenance man was banging it out. As soon as she got back,
That's funny.
They got So and I agree with Hank. She was like want to keep him kind of close, see how long he'll stay in the friend zone because he looks like that kind of sucker. And
well, the thing is, this is where we gotta kind of. He ain't a sucker. He's a good guy.
No. Well, no, he's a sucker. If he paid for a trip, he's a sucker.
I mean, but he's not. If he can afford it, it's whatever.
It has nothing to do whether you could afford it.
Man, look, if you could afford it and it's whatever, spend it.
Okay, I agree with you, but his expectation was that he would have been banging her out under the gondoliers out there
his expectation
in Greece.
The wife,
the sunlight, Greek god, or the outside the window, you're banging it out in the moonlight and shit, and it didn't happen as well.
Hey, that might be your expectation. It seemed like his expectation. he was looking for the wife, and she looked like she
was looking for what? He was looking for what?
The wife.
You bang out your wife too. I bang out you bang it out.
But I get it. But what I'm saying is that if you're looking for a wife, right, and she is very childish. That's why I was like, Hank, you know how to do that sign language stuff too. You could read it as well because you read it clearly. And the reason why I say that is because when you got money to go to Greece or say you can pick anywhere you want, that means you're talking to a person who's sitting on it. And you ain't, and he ain't thinking about it from this angle of somebody who is worked hard to get it. He's thinking it from the angle, I got where you want to go. So it ain't no biggie. That ain't the big thing. The big thing is that he's communicating to her and she's acting childish, and he's trying to give her the benefit of the doubt that she can show some maturity in the scenario through their communication. And sometimes he gets that, and then sometimes she just reverts back to her pain and trauma, and she's even learning that she got pain and trauma that she's dealing with. She's acting very immature, as Hank just pointed out. She knows she did. She knows she's effing up. She knows it. She's listening back as he's answering things like, "Oh man," that's why she ain't want to get into details in the first clip. Because if I get into details, he's gonna expose the hell out of me. So I'd rather not say. I just want to keep it going. And he's still respecting that. Most cats would have been like, "Oh, this heifer, she was acting like low."
Facts.
Because she kind of called me to the couch and like.
So we're going to get into, so at the end there, they talked about them going to do something that she wanted to do at 5 p.m. He went to go take a nap because he was tired, and he slept through that 5 p.m. appointment that they had. So they're about to get into, him not waking up, why she didn't wake him up.
Spoil your bread.
Okay, what's going on? And so I told her, I was like, "There's nothing is wrong. I'm fine. I just feel like I have to be a bit more distant about cuddling and, kissing, because it feels sometimes when I try to do it, it seems like you're uncomfortable. You kind of back away. Okay. She wants to kiss. She doesn't want to make out. Things like that. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to be too overbearing. So I'm going to kind of create a little bit of a boundary. Still want to go do things, But she didn't wake me up, and she said that I should have set an alarm. So, I called her passive. I said that was a passive statement because we're in this together. So, wake me up. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
So all of this was before she said, "I'm leaving"?
No, she'd already said she was leaving in the afternoon. Okay. So she just decided. I mean, this is literally, I went outside to take a break. Mm-hmm. And she sent me a text, "I'm going to the airport." It was so abrupt. It caught me off guard. So I was like, what's this nonsense? The Nigerian in me came in, and I was like, I don't understand what you mean you're leaving. Go take a break and relax. If you want to get an Airbnb, go get an Airbnb. You don't leave, there's nothing to leave.
So how long did you guys have this trip booked for?
7 days.
7 days. Okay. And then Jocelyn, you ended up leaving on the 5th day or the 6th day, or what day was it?
Was it the 4th? Was it the 5th day?
6th.
I left on the 6th day? Okay.
You left on the 6th day, yeah.
I see. Okay, so with him, with that thing you guys wanted to do, you didn't want to just like wake him up, or what was going on with that part?
So we already knew that there was tension before then, before he took the nap, before everything, like the big argument happened the day before. So when he went to sleep, I don't know, it's like I don't really know how to explain it. I could have woken him up, to answer your question. I could have woken him up. However, it was already talked about what I wanted to do. It was already a time that we set. I don't know. I'm just considerate. So if I would have done that to somebody else, or somebody else would have planned something that they really wanted to do and they're dependent on me for transportation, I would have made sure that I was present for that moment. And I never woke Eric up ever. I don't wake people up out of their sleep. I would hate for somebody to wake me up out of my sleep. We actually talked about this as well. Like, that's something that we just don't do.
Oh, that's different.
I don't.
All right. So, okay. So, me, I don't like to be woken up out of my sleep. But that's like if it's 1 o'clock in the morning and, you know, it's not an emergency. But they had something planned. Now, if there was something planned and he was sleeping, I'm going to wake him up. You know, so that part, do you guys think she was being passive, or again stuck in her feelings to the point where she couldn't even nudge him and say, hey, it's getting closer to the time, do you think you want to get ready?
Both. She was being passive, she was in her feelings, she a spoiled brat. That's the body language that I'm getting. The host body language is, yo, girl, you tripping. That's the host body language. She's like, oh, okay, but don't want to say it. Girl, you tripping. You in Greece. Somebody done took you to a trip of Greece, and you're being very petty and immature and spoiled. And that's really all I could say to describe her. She's very spoiled.
Yeah, her excuse for not waking him up is crazy. You're in Greece. You ain't in your community, and y'all just, you know, missed the matinee or something. Like, you're in Greece. You know, and even if you were in your community and it was a matinee, I would expect it. I don't know. Y'all are men. Wouldn't you expect your woman to like wake you up or nudge you? Would you?
She wanted something else. She wanted something else to hold over his head. So she allowed him to sleep, you know, and then I bet you she gaslighted him to say, hey, listen, you didn't really care about this thing anyway. You know, and he said something critical too, because they weren't like kissing and all that kind of stuff. And he was giving her, because when he said that, it just confirms what I'm saying. You know, she would take him to the mountaintop, you know, and then just let him hang out and dangle there. And so he says, you know what, this is just too much. We don't even have to touch or kiss at all. You know, and I don't blame him, but he's still wrong for not, you know, knowing what he should have done beforehand. But so I think part of it is all of these things, her immaturity, the fact that she knows she used him, no matter what. She knows she used him for this trip. And I think she felt a little guilty about it. So she wanted to get out of it. And getting out of it was to try to make him, gaslight him, and thinking that he did everything wrong so he could take her to the airport so she can go home and be out of this nightmare that she put herself in, because she knows she's wrong. You know, she knows she's wrong. She used him. She used a good guy to get a trip. And it weighed on her. And which is a good thing, because that means she has a conscience. That means she at least has a conscience. And even though if she gaslighted him, at least because the work will be worse, and I'm ended here, is a woman who could do that and don't give a shit about it. I don't think she's one of those. So let's hope for her.
So did she use him? Because he offered to take her anywhere.
Well, okay. So yeah, that's a good question, Precious. One of the things I would say is that, and this is where when women try to be naive, not you. Every woman knows a man wants to have sex with her. If you're going to ask him to do all this thing and he's expecting, whether he says it or not, that at one of those nights he's going to get the whole kit and caboodle. And any woman who tells me she doesn't anticipate that, I think she's lying, right? Just like going over to a man's room at 3 o'clock in the morning, thinking we're going to just talk and have crumpets and shit. Get out of here. So, at some point in there, she had to come to grips that I'm going to have sex with this man. And if she had some idea that she wasn't going to do it at all and go through 7 days in Greece, gondolas and all that kind of shit, are you kidding me? No. And so I think she used him, and even though he offered, but I think there was a de facto thing on his part for not having that deal done before they left. And so that's what Hink said. I wouldn't have took it there. Just no way. I'm paying for a trip for a lady to go out there, and I don't know what the goodies are like. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Can I ask you, Payne, to just think from this standpoint? Think if you're a billionaire. Think if you're a billionaire. What is a trip to Greece for you?
If I'm a billionaire and I could afford it 10,000 times over, I'm not taking a chick to Greece unless I'm banging it out.
Well, I mean, you ain't.
I'm just telling you. I'm telling you.
I'm saying you ain't never been a billionaire. That's
okay. If I'm a regular guy with bottle
that's like going on a date to a billionaire. That's like going out on a date.
No, you're right. But, I can understand what you're trying to say, but as part of me taking you from giving this shit away for steak dinners and chicken dinners, you're gonna give me. I'm gonna take you to Greece, but I'm banging it out.
I hear you.
Okay, I can afford it, but you've been giving this shit away for guys for chicken dinners. Listen. Before me,
this is where we have a disconnect.
For guys with bottom and all that kind of stuff. No, you're not getting.
This is where we have a disconnect.
Okay,
you all about getting the skins.
Yes.
Skins ain't easy.
Well, you're better than me.
In my mind, once I had a conversation, I'm already in the panties. So I ain't even really concerned with when I'm getting in the panties. I'm already there. So the way I'm looking at it is like, all right, cool. Do I want to get in the panties? Because getting in the panties can be a headache. And that's what I'm now determining.
Now you're moving the goalpost. You're moving the goalpost, Sean. I'm not gonna want to pursue a woman that I think I'm gonna have a headache if I get in the panties.
Well, guess
I'm only gonna extend this offer to a chick that I want. I'm not gonna just take some random chick and say, "Hey, let's go hang out in Greece." You can just, I'm not gonna do that. Even if I was a billionaire, I could tell you, I'm not a billionaire. I could tell you from a broke man's perspective that if I was a billionaire, I'd be the same way.
Well, I mean, I'd
be the same way.
I mean, this is why I can't. And you've shown us you're very frugal when it comes to your money. So I can probably believe you. I can't even sit here and dispute. You because you got the spreadsheet. Bitch, do you know you made me spend $10,000 right here? I wouldn't
put it quite that way, but there's a price for everything, man. If I'm a trick, I'm gonna have to go all the way. If you're gonna be a trick and I can afford it, then they say it's not tricking, right? If you can afford it, they say it's not tricking.
That's the point that I'm trying to make, and I use the billionaire as an example. But
I know what you're saying, but the price for the honey is still the same. I don't care how much money. The price for the honey is still the same.
But the thing is, some people, have you ever gone on a date and you wanted to hit, but then you start talking with her and you start seeing some of the things she's doing and you're like, oh, hell no, I'm good.
Okay, let's put it the other way, right? Oh, he's gone. What happened to him?
I don't know.
Listen, all I was going to tell him, if I talk to the chick and she's a person I actually liked, and I can see us talking later on and stuff like that, still not taking you to Greece unless we're going to be fooling around. I mean, it's as simple as that. I say that. It's easy for me to say that, but I've never been in that situation. But I don't think you should give anybody something for nothing. That's me. But I hear where he's coming from. If you're courting somebody and you got all the money, you could show her the stars and the moon and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think that's the way I would find a wife if I really cared about her. I would tell everybody around me that to see if she really likes me for me. So I'll be acting like a pauper. I'll be like the undercover. I'd be like the undercover guy. Because you need to like you for who you are. That's what I would rather do. Sending a woman no money. Never. I'm not sending a woman no money. Never. I'm not sending a woman no money. Never. I'm consistent. I can't. You know what? Maybe I think you pull that up. See, I'm not changing my tune, man. I swear.
I'm not sending no money. Ever.
Why you clip that? You know what I'm saying? God,
oh, hilarious! Because
I'm not sending a woman no money. Never. I'm not sending a woman no money. Never. Okay, here's what I would say. I want to change that shirt since that day. You
man.
Listen, he be busting my chop all the time, man. I got to be able to give back once. Oh my God!
Aaron says,
"What's up, bro? Where did you go, man?"
Man, my whole computer system got discombobulated after asking that question.
That's right. You shouldn't ask me those kind of questions.
No, but seriously, I've been on places where I was extremely attracted to the person, took her out, and got to the point where I was sitting there and I'm like, oh hell no, she gonna be a headache. And despite on whatever I invested into her, it was just an investment to get rid of her at that point for me. So it was whether it was $1 investment or a $10,000 investment, I looked at it as it was a well worth investment to get rid of her, get her out of my life, and that's just the cost of what it took. And if I paid that $10,000 to get to Greece, and I found out some of these things out in Greece, I'm like, yo, that's just a $10,000 ticket I'm gonna have to eat because I'm glad I dodged that bullet.
I hear you. I mean, it's no real argument. I hear where you're coming from. I'm just saying, I know how I am, but it's hard for me to speak like a billionaire. I mean, I'm not. So I can only speak.
Aaron might be a billionaire. Aaron might be a billionaire. You never know. He said it's not the money spent, it's the time spent. We are not spending 7 days and 6 nights without something. For what? It's not the money.
There you go, Aaron. She probably smelling good too, looking sexy and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going home with blue balls every night, kissing me. Oh my God, no.
After day.
It's just not happening. It's just too much.
I've been on a trip and the vibe wasn't good.
Just use Vaseline. That's all right. You fine. Just get that Vaseline out like you use.
Petroleum jelly is your friend, man. You know what I'm saying?
Why jelly now? Okay.
Let me flip it around. I've been on a trip that I took
petroleum jelly.
I've been on a trip that I took somebody on, right? And they gave me the skins, and I was like, yo, I don't want no whatchamacallit. I don't want no petty pussy. I mean, I didn't want no, I was like, yo, save it, I'm good. Because at that point, she was doing it because she felt obligated. And that's how it felt. And I was like, man, I'm good. And that's why the position I take is the position I'm speaking to, is because I've been in that space where she did give it because it was expected.
There you go, Sean. Read the super chat.
Please,
What the
Sean,
hell is Sean talking about? I tell you, that's because I'm explaining to you why. Because I've been on a trip that I took somebody and she gave me the skins and it just wasn't really it wasn't all that because she was giving it was you know, because we had got into some situation and she's now giving it to me because she knows that, and I'm like, yo, miss me with that. I said, I don't know.
You got the skin.
Not
Read the super
pity.
chat.
I was like, yo, I don't want no pity P. That's what that becomes. You getting pity P. And the pity P didn't feel good. Like, yo, it was like I'm now doing something. It's better than the Vaseline. I'll admit that.
Maybe. I mean, you telling us how the pity. You telling us how the pity made you feel. Listen, I tell you what, man, the pity jam is really bad.
I'm like, yo, I would have been better off with the Vaseline, man. It might have felt better because it was pity P. It's like, yo, doing it because we out there, we out the country. You know that she already invested in it, and she like, all right,
Okay,
here.
you got to read the super chat, Sean.
He's not gonna read it. He's not gonna read it. He want to talk about pity P. Big Ant sent $10 in and said, "What the hell is Sean talking about? I'm not taking anyone to Greece unless I put a ring on her finger." And Payne talking about banging in Greece. Now, Lord help us.
And Big Ant, I hear you. Thank you, Big Ant, for the super chat. I stopped at, what the hell? I stopped at. I'm not taking anyone to Greece unless I'm like, yo, unless I took somebody out the country, and I'm sharing with you from experience that as much as you talk about, I want to get it, I'm getting it. If you getting it and they ain't into it, I don't know.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
It was. I would have preferred. And the funny thing is, in the place that I took them, there was a lot of hookers downstairs in the hotel because this is that type of place where you can actually engage. And I shared that with her. And here come the pity P. I'm like, man, I might as well went downstairs and brought one of them upstairs. Is what I told her.
The point, Sean, is how well did you perform during the pity party? Because I had a buddy who was covered in this chick, and she finally gave him some pity. I said, she gave you a pity deal, didn't she? He said, yeah. I said, you probably lasted 2 minutes. And I said, so you blew the pity thing, didn't you? And we just bust out laughing. I said, he tried to hide it. I said, you did. You blew it. You finally got it and you blew it. Yo, so listen, yeah, so I know about the pity thing. Huh?
Just match each other's energy.
Oh man.
And that's kind of what it was. And I mean, I performed, but I didn't get any.
You performed all right, yeah.
I'm saying I didn't get any pleasure out of it. So I stopped. I'm like, yo, you good? She ain't act like she was good. I'm like, all right, yo, I'm good. Well, and it's obvious I ain't getting out of it. I'm like, yo, all right.
Listen, man, I hear you, brother. I hear you.
So,
the fact that you remember the pity is a big thing. That says a lot.
7 days, girl. Let me love you, all of you, all the ways there are to love you. 7 days, a first date. We're close. We're married, Shay. And that's a fact. You can't just be taking anybody out the country and thinking that, things are gonna go A-okay, and you've never crossed that line with them before. You're almost setting yourself up for failure. But what I will say is, I don't think not getting it was his issue. It seemed like he would have been okay. But reading her, there were a lot of mixed messages with her. We haven't done a mixed message in a while, right? There was a lot of mixed messages with her. We're going to keep on going with this, though.
I'm not sending a woman no money. Oh, my God.
Never. What is it? Wait, did I get rid of it? I couldn't get it right.
He said what he said.
All right, here it is.
That's one thing I don't like. if you oversleep, like you oversleep. Like it wasn't a life or death situation. You know what I'm saying? Like if he overslept, then he overslept. I was upset, but at the end of the day, like we didn't go to something I wanted to do. Okay, like it was fine.
So would you say like that was like the last straw for you, him oversleeping?
No, the last straw was the day before. I don't really know. So with me, it's like once my mind is made up on something, it's pretty much made. So when I booked the flight, it was kind of like already like anything he did after that was kind of like, okay, I see. I'm leaving soon anyway.
On this 7-day trip, or 6, I think you said you left on the 6th. On what day did you realize, yeah, this is it for me, I'm done?
6.
That's a great question. It wasn't
day 1 or 2.
Let me see. Give me a second. I don't really remember what day it was when it hit me like I'm done. It was just a feeling that I had when I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not arguing anymore. I'm not being upset anymore. You know, it wasn't necessarily like, oh, this day I got mad. It was just really like a feeling like I don't want to feel like this. I don't have to feel like this, you know? So that's really what happened. I don't know what day that was. I really don't know. It was probably the day I booked the flight, to be honest. But I just had a feeling. I'm like, I don't want to argue with this man anymore. I don't want to be uncomfortable in a foreign country with this man anymore. So that's really what it was. Jeez. But afterwards, I didn't want to have a dating relationship with Eric anymore because I think Eric can still be a great person. So I was hoping that we can have a platonic, just cordial friendship afterwards. I know I didn't want to date him anymore, but I didn't want it to be as if he's out of my life completely because he is cool. Like Eric is a cool guy. Like honestly, he's cool. He has a lot of skills, plays instruments. He's a really cool guy. Honestly, he has a lot of great qualities about himself. I just didn't want to date him anymore. So, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Eric, anything you want to add to that? We could just wrap this up.
I take notes, so I have the dates. July 5th was the day we went to dinner. It was the day that we had a conversation. You asked me to tell you what my expectations were of you. I told you that I would like more hugs. I said you're bad at hugs. Remember that? So she said, yeah, I'm going to work on that, you know. And I told her that I felt like every time I gave her hugs, maybe she was feeling like it was trying to lead to something else. I'm like, no, the hug is really just a hug. Like just put your arm around my head and that's all it needs to be, you know? And so she's like, yeah, I'll do better. And that was that. The dinner was great. The next morning is when I went for the run early, and I wake up early, I go for the run. So when I came back, she wanted to have a conversation that afternoon because she said things were seeming weird and I seemed distant. So I was trying to explain to her why I was distant. First of all, I was tired, but second of all, I'm just trying to give you some space, and I don't want to feel like I'm overcrowding you, essentially. And it was literally within 20 minutes of that conversation, she sent me the text, "Can you take me to the airport?" So it came out of nowhere, literally.
Okay. All right. Well, after this trip, did you guys, I know you said, did you guys communicate at all after this trip, or was she left and that was it? I think you had mentioned you guys shared a suitcase, so eventually you had to see him again. So how did that happen?
It was cool. Like, honestly, so from everything that we just expressed to us getting back to Austin, we had conversation. Everything seemed fine. We came to understanding that we both said things that didn't.
I'm sorry, I forgive you, I forgive you. I thought, okay, yeah, we're back on track. We've sorted it out.
Okay.
So
how did you find out that you guys are no longer dating?
Well, she sent me some pictures to edit. I edited the pictures. I sent them back to her. She went to London, which we by the way, we had a whole day because she booked the trip at 6 p.m. on the 6th.
Mhm.
So we had still the whole day to spend together. We were sitting on the couch. We were cuddling on the couch.
This
finally.
is in Austin?
No, this was still.
Oh,
This
so
was
you're
the day after.
backtracking back to
I'm
Greece.
backtracking. Yeah. So she's already had a decision to leave. She's already bought the tickets. There's nothing we can do about that.
Okay.
We've apologized to each other.
Mhm.
She's more calm. I'm more calm. So from that point on, I'm like, okay, well, maybe everything's fine.
Okay.
So the next day, when the day
When she
the
leaves.
6th, yeah, the day she's leaving, we're still cuddling on the couch. Like we watched a movie together.
Mhm.
We went to breakfast.
Mhm.
You know, so that's where the confusion is, because it's like, if you're that angry, why are you so comfortable still being next to me, still cuddling with me? See what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it just creates a lot of
So
confusion
then,
for me.
from Austin to Las Vegas, she said obviously she's checking on you, make sure you get there okay. In your head, everything's still good.
No, when I got to her apartment, I had to ask her one last time. I'm like, tell me straightforward. Are we still good? Are we not good? Are we not dating?
Yeah.
She's like, no, I have no interest in further dating. So I was
Okay.
like, all right, sounds good. I won't bring it up anymore.
Got
And
it.
from
So
that point
that
on,
was the last point.
from that point on, yeah, it was done.
Mhm.
But the next morning, she's still checking on me on my flights. So again, you see what I'm saying? I'm like, if we're done,
asshole,
why are you checking on me?
I mean, she said she thinks you're a cool person.
I understand, but
You're a human being that she cared for at one
I'm not
point.
looking for no friends. I got plenty female
Plenty
friends
of
that are
friends.
just my friends.
Okay.
So it's like, if we're not dating, like,
leave me
You wanna
alone.
just
cut the losses
cold
and move
turkey,
on.
That's it. We're done.
Yeah, which is what I tried to do. I just didn't respond anymore, and I was just, just letting it fizzle out. You know, it's only been a month. That's not, anyone can recover from that. You know,
Yeah.
there's no hard emotional investment.
Okay. All right. Well, obviously we.
It's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much everything I had. Any final thoughts on your end? No, Jocelyn's like, no. All right. So, any upcoming projects?
All right, so she gave a lot of mixed signals at the end, but wrapping up that video, what do you guys closing thoughts about her? And this situation, not just about her, but because he also indulged with her with cuddling on that couch. Maybe he thought she was going to change her mind. I mean, she booked the ticket, confirmed, probably had to check. He continued to indulge with her as well after she booked the ticket to leave
You know why she was comfortable?
because she was leaving.
That and she had firmly put him in the friend zone, and he took too much. He took too long to recognize.
And cool, but he recognized it after he left the thing, and she body language got butt hurt behind that. But she was like, no. But before that, oh, he's cool. We could still be friends. He's like, no, I'm no friends. I'm good. That's why you haven't heard from me. That's why I cut off communication. It'll sizzle out. I'm good. You said you ain't want to deal with. I'm not playing the game with you no more. And she was like, oh, well, we could be.
And you believe him, Sean? You believe him? She could send him a text message today, and he's gonna be all over it.
It's not a belief. It's the point.
I'm asking you. Do you believe what he's saying?
I'm answering you. Yes, he's shown it. He didn't say he's not interested in her. If she changed her mind and was like, "Yo, I really apologize," will he be probably so?
No, I didn't say she changed her mind. If she wants to keep that guy tethered, just in case
She
all the
tried
guys.
to.
Wait, listen, you ain't listen. Let me finish. No, listen. Hold on, it's still early. Right now, he went back. He's saying it's all. I don't believe him. If she sends him a tether thing with some friendly message, he's going to be all over it because she's going back out in the streets and she's never going to find a guy like this again. That was her chance right there. She's going to be banging these guys out who's going to just be using her for chicken dinners. And then she's going to say, shit, man, I had a guy who gave me the world and I threw him away because he was a little bit more for me. And she's going to see how close, if he's still within reach and distance, when all this other shit fails.
Maybe
And
we heard two different
close
things.
that off. If he blocks it, then I'm with you.
Maybe we heard two different things. It seemed like she was trying to do that, and he said, "That's why I kept my distance."
It's early. It's early, man. It's
a month.
It's early.
Did you hear
You got to understand the cunning nature of the honeys. I think you do in your own way. All I'm just trying to say, it could be a month or 2 months. She'll send him that little text to see if he might respond. And he don't have to say much. He don't have to say much. He can say, I'm still out here in the diaspora. And and that'll be another month where she might have gone through another 2 or 3 guys who are just using up for food fodder. And then she's gonna say, shit, you know what? He ain't looking that bad. So give it a year or so. She's gonna see if that tether is still connected. She's gonna see if that tether,
especially after this show.
He looks like he's too much of a junior to cut it off.
She'll find out how many. It ain't like he was stressing her alone. He was attracted to her, but you know how many girls he gonna get because of this video right here?
I seen her on the balloon show. A lot of women don't like that, guys.
Once again, did you hear my question? Did you hear my question? I didn't say who wanted her before the balloon. I said after the show right here, when he done paid for it.
Maybe. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I don't know where we're going. He might get some credit after this show, but then some other women say, shit, I might get a grease trick out of him. I might get a grease trip out of him too. He got a whole line of women want to go to Greece now.
The host is married and she over there squirming like, oh man. Woo! Okay, girl. Really?
Can I go to Sweden? Let's go to Sweden, baby. He got a whole line of women want to trick his ass out now.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, I didn't. I think the initial video was maybe like 40 minutes long, and so in the beginning, he was impressed that. I think a lot of times he gave her a choice of where she wanted to go, and so to eat, she said she wanted to go to Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that, right? And so then their next date, they went to Dave and Buster's, and so he said that he really liked that he wanted to do really nice things for her, but she was okay with just the status quo things. And so with the trip, I think that was a way for him to throw that nice thing in there for her, since she was content with just doing regular things. And that trip was kind of like, let me do something nice for you type of thing. And this is how the cookie crumbled with him doing that for her. And this is one of those experiences where it's like you live and you learn, but the whole experience for them was thrown off because I believe he wanted to be an adult about some situations, and she just wanted to stay on that juvenile level. And when you're in a relationship with somebody like that, or trying to build a relationship with somebody like that, it's just not going to work, because you're going to find yourself outgrowing them, and they're never going to, do that inner work like Sean was talking about. Is it the enemy or the inner me? And in this situation, it was totally the inner her. She couldn't get over little things. She couldn't, even speaking with him, she really didn't respect him. Yes, he was moving her stuff and things of that nature, but she asked him to come over to help. And so, even the way she spoke with him was disrespectful right off the bat. And, they're still going to Greece. They're still doing the whole shebang. But I really think that she got a taste of something that she wasn't ready to handle yet. Like that was a grown and sexy trip. Okay. That was you gotta be on your woman's, tip. Like, you can't go out of the country acting immature like that. You shouldn't go anywhere acting immature like that. But to want to get a flight back home, I think they said she's from Austin. So I'm not quite sure how long the trip is from Austin to Greece and back, but I'm sorry. I'm never going to be in my feelings that much for me to fly back by myself. And we done flew there together, okay? We going to work this thing out while we here, and I'm not cutting the trip short because I'm in my feelings, because I can't get over something. Like he said, go outside, take a break. He took a run. He was willing to actually put her in an Airbnb and spend more money to make her happy.
You know what's funny? Like I said, I ain't no Bill Gates paint, but he's carrying himself like a billionaire. Nigerian with money. He ain't sitting there tripping on the money portion.
Oh yeah, the Greece trip. He was like, he was already traveling, and he had been traveling for 30 days, and he was like, you know what, I need a break from doing what I'm doing. So let's go to wherever you want to go. That's what he picked.
That's what I'm picking up on the bilingual. He got dough. For him to say, I want we can go to Europe, you pick the spot. That ain't no broke man lingo. That's some man who's sitting on it. It was like, yo, anywhere you want, you just pick the destination.
Piece of this bowl of bacon.
You know what I mean? So, but she wasn't ready for that. And I think even to the point just now, he's like, yo, I'm good. I don't need no friends. She sat there. If you looked at her body language, put on her little sheet and was like, oh, that's fine. I'm good. Because she got butt hurt because she's like, yo, I don't want her. I'm good. I gave her all the chances. I said, hey, what is it you want to do? She's sending all these signals. I ain't got time for that game. You want to be a friend? I said, okay, we can be friends. This is what friends get. I don't get. Why are you calling me trying to figure out if I made it? That ain't what friends do. I'm good. I'll tell you if I made it or not. But you calling, checking on me. Yeah, you just finished telling me you didn't want that intimate connection. Why are you giving me that intimate connection? Circumstances, and that's where he was like, yo. So I just let it go. I backed off. I was like, all right, good. I'm cool. And then as soon as he said that, he's like, I don't need no more friends. If we could have zoomed in on her, she just like, oh, excuse me? Oh, you don't want me?
Right.
She put on that little blanket and was like, I'm good. She's a spoiled brat, and she met her match. Somebody who can throw money at her, not care about it, not get the cookies, and not even want them.
Yeah, I can see how R-Pain, now as the video has gone on, we've talked more about it, how you say how she used him. You know, they may not have gotten to the point where they had sex, but this is just another thing in her immaturity that she could say, oh, well, he flew me out to Greece and I ain't even give him none. And we went here and we saw the blue top roofs and we went on the RTVs. And it's just another, you know, there are men who put notches in their belt. There are women who, you know, put another coin in their purse type of thing. Like, it's just like, oh, I got another fool, or I got another guy to do, you know, X, Y, and Z for me, and I have to give it up for him. So that's a loss for him and a win for me. That's a very mature mindset.
That's a small mentality to somebody who's like, yo, I spend trips like that on a regular.
Right.
Yeah.
You took me to Ruth Chris. He made me, and you do that regularly. You give your kids money to go to Ruth Chris. Yeah,
but you're still missing a point. So we're talking from her point of view. Doesn't matter about his point of view. She's
he's the leader. It doesn't really matter about.
It's nothing to do with leadership.
You think you got over on me, but really, I paid to get you out of my life. You don't hear that concept? Please don't let it go over your head. Yo, I paid this 10 G's to get you out of my life. I'm good. I got it.
But that wasn't the initial intent. That was his final intent.
I understand that, but the point is, he wasn't hurting for it, so it didn't matter.
We're not talking about whether he's hurting or not.
Did y'all not hear that?
He's not hurting for it, Sean. You're right. You're absolutely right. This man is ready to give a woman the world, and she ain't got to probably want nothing. It's his time that she messed up. It's his time that she was infringing on acting like a child. And so, yes, he's not going to allow his time to be wasted anymore. So it's like, no, we don't need to be friends. No, you don't need to check on me to see how I'm doing. I'm a grown man and I can get from A to B safely. And if I do have any troubles or problems, you're not going to be the first person I call. I'm not going to let you know what's going on with me. But like they were saying, it's his time that he can get back. Yes, he can go to Greece with anybody any day. But he's not gonna. Nobody wants their time wasted and played with, and that's what she did. She played with his time, and she couldn't be an adult, and she was acting like a child. And you could see that by the way that she was on that couch with the blanket on top of her, and you know, just the look she would give and the smirk she would give sometimes when he was talking. And so, you know, after Greece, she said we found out that we weren't compatible. But at the end of the day, you're probably not compatible to be with anybody right now. You know, he had an exact mission. He said, "Look, I'm not looking to have any more friends. He wants to be married." And so when you want to be married and a man makes a move like that, if a woman's not ready, he gonna move on. And she just missed out. You know, I don't know, you know, what he has going on, but at the end of the day, he seems like he has a solid foundation. That's for sure.
Yeah, we saying the same thing. I'm just saying, when she's sitting there doing that we just described, telling her girlfriend, yeah, he tricked out on me, he sent me to Greece. She looking real foolish to a real man.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what you cool.
This has been a show. We're gonna get to the we're gonna get to the final thoughts and then we're gonna get up out of here.
Yes,
right,
man.
We'll start with R-Pain and then we'll go over to Sean and end with Hank.
All right, let's not. You know, it's a good. I think that was a pretty good little scenario. I like the Bloom show. I mean, you can get good content out of it sometimes. But I do remember the guy. He's been on several of her panels. I understand his interaction with different ladies. You know, he was looking for more than what she was willing to give. I think she was playing a game. I think he's scared a little bit because she just wanted to go out there and frolic. He was trying to kind of assess her if there could be more. And, you know, I just think that she gave him a little bit of mixed signals. You know, if she wasn't going to give up the goodies, I think he understood that you can get a kiss, you can get a hug. And then he also said the hugs weren't that good at the end either. So I can understand him backing off because he said, I can't go any further. But I think she was just looking for certain ways to put him in the friend zone. She finally did that. And she left. I mean, I think this is the way. I think she's the kind of girl we're going to see on TikTok a year from now. I had a good man. I had a chance. I had a good man, but he wasn't driving a nice car. That kind of stuff. I mean, you know, so it happens that way. She wasn't clicking. She's looking for some kind of spark. And that's how women get caught up with the Pookies and Ray Rays. Because they know how to give you a spark that you need, but there ain't no substance behind it. So, you know, I think he was a dweeb, and he probably got a whole lot of ladies in his queue now who want to go to Europe. You know, so I think he needs to up his standards a little bit. Don't take nobody nowhere. Try to vet him in a different way. You don't lead with your money. I'll land it there.
Thank you. Yeah, you said he wanted more than what she could give, and some women aren't capable of giving you, you know, what you need at that time. And so, you know, it almost makes me feel like did she have somebody else back at home? Like, you know what I mean? Like, does she not feel? Because when a woman, he said, you know, with the hugs and things of that, when you naturally don't want to be affectionate with a man, when you naturally don't want to touch him, don't want to give him a hug, there is something really internally that's stopping you from doing that. Literally. Whether it's your spirit, your conscience, like whatever you want to call it. And women don't want to be honest about that, but your body language will be honest for you. It 99.9% of the time. I mean, if you could fake that and, you know, then you probably could. But if a woman naturally does not show a man affection and her body rejects you, then something's definitely wrong on her side, and it's something that she's not telling. So she might not be capable of giving him what he needs, or she may have somebody else that she is giving him what he's desiring. She's giving that to somebody else, but they may just not be on his level or able, you know, like she said,
I got you.
You know, plays instruments and you know, the man is always busy traveling and all of that. Maybe she's just not up to par, you know, with all of that. So thank you, R-Pain. I appreciate you for being here this evening. Sean, your final thoughts?
Let me see how I want to address this.
Oh, Jesus.
Words. First, I'll start with 2 words: emotional maturity. That's something that, in this case, she did not show whatsoever, and a lot of women tend to not show it. I won't just say it's a gender thing for women. Men sometimes express a lot of emotional immaturity as well, and we need to, as a community, as a people, learn more about that emotional maturity. Exercise it a bit more. If you don't have it, intentionally try to gain it. Because we have these mixed signals that are being sent, and all mixed signal is in these cases are game playing. And we started with the little boy game playing and the mother condoning the game playing. And we continuously look and we laugh at the games and we look at the playing, but we don't address it. And that's where the emotional maturity comes into play. At this point in my life, I'm working on my emotional maturity, and I find myself that I'm often more emotionally mature than a lot of people that I run into. Because part of the immaturity is not being able to let things go. Like the young lady said, she couldn't do, holding grudges and doing all of these things. And when you say you forgive, you're really lying because you really didn't forgive. She said it, I wrote it down. She said it in the 3rd video. Oh, I don't even know when. Yeah, you do, you lying. You didn't, you knew exactly when he didn't give you your way. That's what it boiled down to. Your body language shows that you're a spoiled brat, and a spoiled brat is a person who emotional maturity is just at its lowest. And so that's why I can identify it real quick, because it shows in all your actions. It shows in your reactions. It shows in your body language. It shows in your verbal language. It shows in your rolling of your eyes. It shows. So we could sit there and beat around the bush and not identify, acknowledge it, or sometimes not recognize it. But if we start working on recognizing it and start seeing the games that are being played by somebody and just refuse not to play the game, we'll be a lot better off. So that was enough, because I don't want Hank to start talking about me.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you for being here.
For having
me. Hank, final thoughts?
Yeah, that my man just he's lost, man. He's lost, and he has a lot to learn. He needs to come to the basement. I don't know why he hasn't subscribed to Hank yet, joined the membership or none. Because that's what he needs to do. He made a lot of mistakes in this whole situation. That argument they had prior to, there's no way we would have went on this trip. I would have took whatever financial loss I would have took. Again, I would have went on a trip without her, took the loss of her ticket. It is what it is. But I still would have went on a trip. I wouldn't have canceled the trip. I wouldn't have went on a trip. I just went by myself. She's not worthy of going. Another thing is, if she really was cool with going to BW3s or Steak and Shake, I don't know, whatever, look, fast food restaurant, I would have called the bluff and did it. I would have called, is she a woman of her word? So that would have let me know right then and there if she's worthy enough to even go on a trip like this.
She did.
I would have called the bluff.
She did. They went to those actual places. Dave and Buster's, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay. Again, once we had that argument, though, Precious, there's no way I would have invested that much money. Even if I'm a billionaire, I'm not. My time is too important. So if I'm going to take myself out of the country and on this trip, I want to have a good time. And I just got into an argument the night before or a couple of days before going on the trip. What makes you think I'm having a good time? I just had a disagreement or argue with a woman I barely know. No, there's no way I would have took on this trip. But now that we on this trip, you can't really enjoy yourself because now you still get into arguments and disagreement. Yeah, everything about this, I give him credit for even offering to buy Airbnb, but how foolish is she? Very foolish. She's immature. She's childish. To the point you spent Look, I know she spent the grip on getting a last minute ticket to get up out of there the day before they were supposed to schedule to leave.
Okay.
So I would have took that Airbnb, got an Uber back to the airport. We would have went our own ways. You know, I'm sure they probably sit together. That's cool. I would have had my headphones on that trip and just chill, relax, and I had nothing to say to them. Got home safely to Austin, Texas. I assume that's where she's, Austin. When you say Austin, I assume you mean Austin, Texas. Got back home to Texas and been fine, and just would have been about my business. Just it was a lot of bad things, and I guess he finally wised up after he got back home, and probably he told his boys about it, and they probably gave him hell. Now all of a sudden he's gonna let his nuts hang. You know, his sack all of a sudden decided to drop. Well, dog, you should have dropped when she got into that argument before we left the States. That's when it should have dropped in there. You should have known. But you had it was an expensive lesson. You know, hopefully you learn from it. Not every woman's entitled to go on a trip like that. Not everybody's entitled to have your time. Not every woman's entitled to get you and to be in your presence like that. They have to earn that. And to me, if you barely knew her, I think what he said, a month, she hasn't earned that opportunity. She hasn't earned that privilege. But you was a fool enough to try to give it to her. Well, shame on you, brother. I blame more him than her. I expect that from a immature, childish woman to make a decision like that, to act like that, to carry on like that, to behave like that. I expect that from her. But you as a man who seems like you got your shit together, I expect more from you. And that's not what we've seen. I'll leave it there.
Some great final thoughts. Thank you, Hank. I appreciate you for being with us this evening. Yeah, I mean, I think someone said it best in the comments. Not the grease in the ball. Sorry, my mouth slipped. Metalik, who said this experience should teach him a valuable lesson in impressing women, especially just knowing them for a short period of time. And that is very true. I think that with this guy, he had already been traveling. They had already been dating, and doing things together. And a lot of men would want women that fit into their lifestyle, right? So it was nothing for him to say, where do you want to go? What country do you want to go to? And then just book the trip, because that's probably something he would have done for himself. So for him to add another ticket probably was nothing for him. But at the same time, not knowing this woman and knowing her temperament and being in certain situations with her was a red flag. And then for getting into an argument right before you're going to go is another red flag. It's almost like, a warning for things to come. And so that should have been his time where he reflected and said, okay, do I really want to do this? I think he had a lot of patience for her, patience that a lot of women do ask for from men. I think he displayed that with her. But I think he learned a valuable lesson in doing that. I bet you he won't be doing that again. He probably be taking these girls to Florida or somewhere. He ain't going to take them all the way to Greece, because he like, hey, look, if you acting like this out the country, then godly, like, let me do some in-country things. Let me take them up the street before I take them out the country. So I hope he learned a valuable lesson from this, especially like Arpain said, he has been on quite a few of those episodes. And so now he has definitely made a name for himself in these YouTube streets and social media streets as someone who can definitely afford it. But does he have the discernment of vetting? Does he, does he really have that discernment? Was he raised by his father? Like, was he raised with men who would tell him, hey, look, don't go out there spending all your money and you barely know this girl, take her around town a couple times, or, take her to the beach, but you ain't got to take her to Greece, and for her, one day she gonna look up and be like, I took a L on a good one. You know, if he's a good guy, we don't know exactly how this guy's temperament is, but at the same time, he was willing to probably do more for her than a lot of other guys that she's probably just dated. I think the audacity of her to say, you know, I don't want to date him anymore, but want to keep him as a friend is bold on her end, considering, you know, what they had went through on that trip. And so I think honestly, she's used to this. She's used to, you know, using men or getting what she wants from men, or even not even what she wants, but receiving the benefits of being with men who probably, you know, have money rather than actually being with them. She's receiving their benefits, but she's not receiving them as people. And that's what guys have to truly be mindful of. You know, does this woman like me for me? Enough to give me a hug. enough to throw her arms around me and give me a hug without me prompting it, without me telling her to do that. You know, are we at least there with it? You know, because to not even be able to, for him to tell her she got to work on her hugs, that's him telling her she has to work on her interest in him. And you can't tell a woman that. You can't tell a woman you have to work on your interest in me. She either got to be into you or she's not into you. There is no in between. There is no lukewarm. She's into you or she's not into you. And there are a lot of ways to tell that. And body language is a huge way to tell that. And if you got to wait a while for that to be something that is in your favor, you're probably going to be waiting for a long time. So stop wasting your time. You want someone to totally be into you, someone that don't have to be coerced or tricked or, you know, paid for that, you know, to get that attention. If she's not giving that to you, she don't like you. She's not interested in you. There's something about you, or maybe there's something about her that just doesn't click with you. And that's fine. People are people. But those are things that you have to find out up front before you go somewhere like Greece and the wheels are up in the air. I don't see anything wrong with dating someone. I don't see anything wrong with flying back and forth to see each other. But before you make huge plans, I think that, you know, those interactions are important, and taking, like he said, he takes notes. So taking notes on those interactions are very important, and be true to yourself. If you know this girl ain't really feeling you like that, you got to take it up as a L. And being mindful, you know, the next time around. So I appreciate you guys for joining us. Definitely, I'll let you guys know in the group chat when our next live will be. And I will be posting it on Instagram when the next live will be. Right now, I'm not too sure, but I'll definitely be in contact with you guys. But I appreciate you for joining me on a Thursday. Today's Thursday, right? Thursday, right? It feels like Monday since we're here, but it's definitely Thursday. My days have all been running into each other. So I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. And as I say on all of my shows, as I end all of my shows, be real with yourself so you can be real with others. Thank you guys so much, and have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.